Welcome to the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you.
Looky, Senator. Decent Jedi arriving.
Let's make this our best show ever!
I will sign no treaty, Senator.
I am the Senate.
This is the way.
Hello, Star Wars fans, and welcome to Positive Star Wars Chat, because this is the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast, coming to you via the power of the Force and a little help from Skype. This episode is recorded on the 19th of May 2024, and on this episode we're going to be talking about the finale of the Bad Batch Season 3, Tales of the Empire, and May the Fourth be with you. This episode is brought to you by a little limerick that I've asked ChatGPT to create for us today on Qui-Gon Jinn. So here we go. Let's see what this sounds like. Qui-Gon Jinn, with a saber so bright, met Jar Jar Binks, much to his slight fright. In the depths of Naboo, they formed a strange crew, and together they fought the good fight.
Misa Pig like that.
I'm not sure that really works as the limerick, but thanks, ChatGPT, for helping us fill in a little bit there. But anyway, before we get going with the show, as ever, it's time for a little quick word from our sponsors.
What if you could share every moment again? Share it all with your family on video.
We haven't much time.
Star Wars Episode 1, the one to own.
And thanks to our sponsors. Keeping our D+ descriptions going, helping keep the lights on, food in the cupboard, wheels on the road, voice on the airways, and Ron, Ryan, and Ricky's Star Wars card collection going. Right, well, before we get going, I want to introduce my fellow senators from across the pond. Yes, whereas I'm the only Brit member of the crew. My name is Stephen, by the way. The rest of the motley crew comes from across the vast pond of water to my west in the United States of America. So in Skype order, we have Marie.
Good day.
All right. We have Ricky.
Hello.
We have Ryan.
Hello there.
And we have Ron.
Greetings and salutations, fellow senators, Chancellor.
And if anybody heard that in the background, we also had an Amazon parcel delivery. But they're not part of our sponsors, and they're not member of the motley crew either. Okay, so we are going to get on and get cracking on, and we're going to start with Bad Batch Season 3 finale, which feels like a long time ago now. How long ago was it?
Like 2 years ago.
No. Well, it's 2 weeks. What, May the 4th weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, was it that week? It was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just trying. I'll tell you what. It feels like it's a month since May the 4th, but it's not. I'm just looking at the thing. It was May the 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad Batch Season 3 finale. The cavalry has arrived. So that's a quick summary from sponsored by Wikipedia.
Spoiler warning!
We have the children escape. That is the children. That's not really a great start to it, is it? In Wikipedia, that's the children which were with Omega in the vault. They escape from the vault and free the Zillo Beast, which goes on a rampage through the vicinity before finding Echo and Emery. Hunter, Wrecker, and Crossfire infiltrate the base, but are captured by Hemlock's CX operatives. Echo and Omega free Nana Se, Rampart, and the other clone prisoners, while Emery takes the other children to safety. Nana Se goes to destroy the vicinity's data to protect Omega and to prevent the Empire from using her research. But Rampart kills her, boo, and plans to use the research for leverage with the Empire. But before she dies, Nana Se uses a grenade, yay, to destroy their data and kill Rampart. Hemlock, and herself, by the way. Hemlock attempts to convert Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair into operatives, but Echo, Omega, and the other clones free them and defeat the existing operatives. Hemlock takes Omega hostage, but she helps Hunter and Crosshair kill him. Well, there's all very matter of fact in this Wikipedia, isn't it? They all escape to Pabu. Tarkin shuts down Tantis and diverts its funding to Project Stardust. Embry decides to join Echo in helping other clones, while Omega and the Bad Batch remain on Pabu. Years later, an adult Omega leaves to join a rebellion against the Empire. Well, that's the summary. Concluded. I have to say that Wikipedia's made it seem really unexciting.
Well, somebody died with a grenade. So
was it? Oh, yeah, it's a grenade thermal detonator. I keep thinking there's always thermal detonators.
what's all the thermal detonator?
No, but it was pretty explosive.
So now it's just, so while I gotta say, like, you know, we're all adults. We like things to kind of be a little bit darker and more closed. They just left this wide open. I mean, it was kind of what we thought. Where, and again, it's hard to insert too much story and an established story. That's the problem with working around the Skywalker saga, because you're like, well, we know it's going to get shut down because we know that the Death Star is the main focus for the entire series. But yeah, it's just, I was quite surprised by, at least there was some sacrifice, like Nala say, sacrificing herself. But realistic at the end, everybody lived. Everybody just went on and did other things. And it's like, okay, they just lived on Pabu. Isn't that a planet of clones, by the way? And they didn't.
Not completely. Not completely. There's some clones there, aren't there? But not.
I guess in Star Wars, one city defines the entire planet. But
there was already
it's just
inhabitants there, wasn't there? So
it's just kind of surprising that the most important thing to ever exist to Palpatine is, you know, transferring his blood. He doesn't search Pabu first from top to bottom or destroy it while searching for Omega. He's just like, okay, we'll focus on the Death Star. And it's like, wait a minute,
everything died with what's his name? With Hemlock.
Yeah, I don't think he would know about Pabu.
Yeah, nobody knew. Everybody that knew about that project is dead. So even the Emperor kind of got the last information of it before he even got there. So
is Pabu all that hidden, or it's not some hidden?
Yeah, it seemed
I
like
don't think it's
like
hidden,
it.
but they don't know anything. They don't know any ties to anything. All of that sort of, like Ricky said, died with the.
Hemlock kept it pretty close to his chest, so he wasn't.
One of Tarkin's failures in terms of all right, well, I don't know what's his bravado, his what's with his all right, well, destroy it all. This is all I guess he wants to focus on the Death Star or whatever. Yeah, he's just whatever this is all nonsense. That he didn't get in trouble with the Emperor. You would think Palps would be like, oh, dude, I understand it was compromised and everything, but you didn't rescue a thing? Nothing? That was kind of important to me. I would think there'd be a little bit of that going on there. That would have been.
It might have been him trying to cover it up for the Emperor too.
Yes.
Erase all traces.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah,
he did know what it was and the importance of it, and hit it.
I had a conversation online. I think it was on Reddit with a few people about the finale and that kind of stuff. And because I was complaining that, how the Emperor be very happy? He can't be very happy what Tark has just done. But then, as it was sort of reasoned out, is that basically, probably the Emperor doesn't trust Tarkin anyway, so probably don't want him to know anything about this project anyway. So he's probably, in some respects, quite happy with how it comes, because they don't want Tarkin to know. I don't expect Tarkin ever knows that the Emperor is trying to create a clone himself.
I don't think Hemlock more than Tarkin.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think that would matter. Like Tarkin.
Well, Hemlock was like a tool for him though, but Tarkin doesn't help him get to that end point. So Tarkin doesn't need to know. Tarkin just needs to know that I have a special project Hemlock's working on. It failed, shut it down,
Tarkin's the military guy. He likes him, trusts him for his military prowess, his military knowledge, his military stuff, but doesn't have to necessarily be his full-on confidant in anything and everything that's force-related. Because Tarkin's not forcing friend.
Well, why he's walking around blurting out Project Stardust to everybody? It's another story.
Well, it's a code word.
The other thing with Tarkin is he wasn't in charge of Stardust. Krennic was.
Yeah.
Like Tarkin had almost nothing to do with it.
That was in charge of nothing, right? Because he constantly sort of was the bean counter, for lack of anything, of all the various projects. He didn't like Thrawn's Tri-Defender that was expensive and was project managing the Death Stars, like your delays are costing money and causing things. So yeah, that might be his role. But then
he's basically upper management.
Yeah, touche, right? Very much upper management and taking credit for.
You're saying that
once it gets successful.
Tarkin going around blurting out Operation Stardust. How many people there are going to know what the heck he's talking about anyway? So how do you divert money to another secret project?
Well, it was supposed to be an energy project or something. So I
Was
guess
it
he did have a
supposed to be
cover.
what? Something else?
Yeah, that's what what's his
All
name
right,
thought it
well,
was.
that's slightly different then.
Galen, yeah. Galen thought they were going to use that technology with the crystals to power up the, cities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He
Well,
did
they
light
sort
them
of
up.
did- But sort of power them up. Big stuff.
He did light them up, but in a sort of different way.
Yeah.
It's like when you
So it
power up a
was
light bulb too
surprising-
much.
Did anybody get the feeling that at this point, I guess once it does the time leap, that Hunter's the only one alive? Or did the other ones just
people
kind of pass away of old age? It's just weird that they chose not to show them in the finale as she's like leaving and hugging Hunter. I was like, wait a minute, did they, just die of old age 15 years later type of thing? It's
Yes.
I just thought it was weird they weren't in that final scene. So I didn't know if they were alive or dead.
Super skipping ahead, but I think there's comments or dialogue in there that makes us think they're alive. They're just not there in that scene.
Yeah.
And so, where's the crying for the missed opportunity? Why didn't we get one final shot with the Bad Batch all together before she goes off? Because that's how the story went. She rolling out, and Hunter knew she was going to try to slink out and went to the hangar, whatever it was, to catch her before she left. The other guys are wherever they are. And I just think that's the way the story was. I'm pretty sure there was dialogue that made us. It leads me to believe that they're still alive. They just weren't up yet. They weren't there for her.
Stealing away.
Yeah. They might have
Yeah,
been off on other missions or whatever.
No, I think they were
It's
there.
just
on
to me,
purpose.
it's just to me with the way they're wording it. It could have been that, they just passed away because clones age quickly, obviously. So they might have just passed away, or like you said, they're just out doing other stuff. But I'm surprised they didn't show them sleeping in somewhere, or I don't. I was just maybe I missed it, so that's why I'm just.
She wasn't leaving with the intention of her returning. She was just leaving like, I'm gonna go do this mission. So you don't want to have a big finale with everybody like, oh bye, I'll never see you again, because you don't know. She might be able to come back and have some more adventures with them.
Well, and remember, just before that flash forward thing, they did have the three of them together, all of them together in that scene.
Yeah.
So it's only literally in the last flash forward scene they aren't all there. They were there at the final scene of the current time that they were in.
Yeah. And again, I might have missed it, but it's weird to me that they didn't say anything like, oh, Hunter and Crosser or Wrecker and Crosser aren't going to be happy when they get back. They didn't have anything obvious like that. To me personally, or I might have missed it where it seemed like that they're talking about them in the present tense. So I was just like, wait a minute, are they dead? Are they they just kind of talk about them in like a halfway, not like, they're going to miss you too type of thing. To me, it almost seemed like Hunter was the last one standing.
Yeah, I think he was the father figure. He was like the leader to her, So that's why she kind of had more of a connection, I think, to Hunter in the beginning. So it was kind of nice that they kind of like wrapped it up with.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she tells Hunter to tell them, I'll miss her, I'll say goodbye, or she says something to Hunter that indicates they're still around, still alive. Just tell them, or Hunter says they'll understand why you're leaving or something like that. Anyway, I think they're still around. But somebody brought up a good point. I think it was Ricky that it's not necessarily a final goodbye, I'm never coming back. It was just I've got to go join this fight. And Hunter was like, yeah, we can't, we understand. We can't protect you anymore. You need to go do what you need to do. We can't. Why they think they can't help? Just because, it's not like they're grandfatherly old and decrepit. They're not sure of the spry clones that they use, but they're more ground forcey than that we are piloty. I don't know. It just, you needed something to set her, send her off. What I heard one good theory of she's with the many Bothans that help get the Death Star plans. Death Star 2 plans. Write the letter back to Hunter. Because Mon Mothma is sending me on a secret mission with the Bothans for something that I can't talk about or whatever. So, we don't see it on screen, but we know it was successful, but it had a demise of sorts.
Do you think, again, they left it kind of totally up in the air about what rebel faction she was joining, right? So it could have been New Hope and it could have been Return, right?
Yeah.
They just kind of left it, because both of them were gathering rebels. So I guess that's up in the air.
But she ages normally, right? So her age, timeline wise, we had to think it was original trilogy, A New Hope-ish sort of.
More like to be A New Hope.
Yeah.
Because what? How old was she supposed to be on the show? She was supposed to be like what, like 10, 12?
13.
Right? 13? So
12 or
that was
13,
like
yeah.
13 in the year of Order 66. So how old? She was like what, like 19 at the end when they showed her? That's like what? 6
Well,
years later? Yeah.
If it's at Revenge to New Hope, that's 9 years.
This is like Solo time, you know, that she's leaving.
Yeah, but she says Mon Mothma needs help with the needs pilots for the rebellion, and the rebellion hasn't.
I feel like that's more of. That's why I wonder. It could be
Rebels
New Hope
timeline.
but,
Yeah.
You know, I imagine that the rebellion truly didn't really kind of explode and blow up until they destroyed the Star, and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, we really have a chance at this." And then it's
there is a lot of pilots because I had that thought too. There's a lot of pilots because of the end scene of this medal ceremony. There is a lot of pilots, a lot of people, you know, that weren't part of the Death Star fight. When all those people are watching that, when you look at that, the numbers are a bit, you know, George had it a bit off, but those pilots, all those people, you know, is she in that crowd somewhere as a pilot for the rebellion celebrating?
Those pilots weren't very effective though, Ron, because they're all matte paintings, most of them in the background there. So
they cheated for 20 years.
Yeah. Didn't they have like some pilots for the Death Star battle for Yavin? Did they have them just distracting the X-wings, like, or the TIE fighters, like around the station, and then only Luke and his crew
like
in the
4 of them
trench,
that
right?
come back when it explodes. I mean, they should have been part of the okay, we did it, let's go home party.
Well,
I like that theory. You're saying, well, no, they didn't sacrifice themselves because at the medal ceremony, there's a crowd of pilots that, you know, where did all those come from that they weren't there at Yavin? But yeah, the Battle of Yavin and the Death Star thing, the Death Star snuck up on Yavin. So pilots in the rebellion could have been everywhere elsewhere and, you know, weren't going to get there in time. It was just who was there at the rebel base. A lot of them, but not obviously all those ones in the medal ceremony. That's something for us to dissect in some other Senate with regards to how a New Hope has on that.
A story for another time. I mean, it leaves are wide open.
Yeah.
So.
No, it
I mean,
does, right?
I wonder like how many
Wars.
pilots.
I agree, right?
How many pilots from Rogue One actually went to the Yavin actual battle? You know, like because only a handful went to, or I mean, I guess quite a bit went to the.
You got to think all the color squadrons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they still had an entire base there. Everybody that was there in Rogue One when we saw it were still there. You know, just some people went to go fight.
The rebellion was never that big, so it was always a handful of people type of thing compared to the Empire. So, but one thing we don't have to worry about is Crosshair having a shaky hand anymore, right? Like at least that was cured with the science.
Well, I still can't believe that got no reference in the whole episode, but the fact that he got his hand chopped off.
Yeah, they lopped that thing off, and I was like, "Dang, man!"
Not even any puns or anything.
I don't even remember that.
Dude, yeah, they chopped. Remember, he stepped down to the chair, getting tortured, and he just goes zip.
It's all Ned Stark. It was it Jamie Lannister sort of stuff, wasn't it? Jamie Lannister sort of
Oh yeah. He got the hand cut off, man, and I was like, okay, this is. I want some long-term character impact, and to have a sniper get his hand cut off, I'm like, okay. That's definitely something.
Ooh.
It was. I could see how it was a little hard to miss because they're not showing that stuff on TV really in a kid's animated show. But he had his hand cut off and then he could just kind of like pull the nub up to him or whatever. I was like, wow, they did it. You don't have to worry about the shaky hands no more.
He had his hand cut off during the sort of fight that they had with the special ops troopers, and they were pinned down, gunned down, outnumbered. Right, that's where everybody got caught. Hunter.
It's when they're in the chair. Getting their
they chop it off in the chair.
Remember when they're getting their minds?
No, he was on the floor. He was on the floor when they chopped it off.
Yeah, I think they were all captured, so to speak, and.
Oh yeah, they were captured.
Not captured, but they were pinned down, outnumbered, and one of the special ops dudes had not a laser sword, not a lightsaber, but had something or whatever, and he's standing over top of him and does a swing down chop, and we kind of know, and he even says something about his hand, I think. So I think we realize, or the first visualization is in the chair, like they don't show the hand being chopped off. We just can infer that's what just took place. Oh my! But then in the chair is where we actually see the stud, piece or whatever.
They attach the piece to it. So yeah, that's what I say. That's when I realized that they cut it off. But yeah, they cut it off definitely a few scenes earlier for sure. But yeah, I was like, okay, wow, that's That's a
That was
bummer
an
for
intense scene
Gonna-
because, like you said, you want your main character, or, you want some actual repercussion, and that fight scene was intense because all of our guys, everybody kind of got taken out a little bit. Wrecker's getting the shocked or whatever to a sense of, it was an intense scene. It was so well done.
Yeah, it was a big battle. I was wondering about who they were fighting though, because to me it seems like they were fighting an evil version of the Bad Batch. Like there was a sniper, there was like kind of hunt. So I was almost gonna wonder if my helmet was gonna come off, and it was obviously they all look the same, so it wouldn't be like, oh my god, you look like me. So I guess that's pointless. But I kind of
it's not Knights of Ren, wasn't it? It was like Knights of Ren in that episode, I thought.
It almost seemed like they were designed to fight the Bad Batch. Obviously these were the elite soldiers and stuff like that. So I was like, because they were hunting the other ones, and they were looking at each other and sneaking around. I'm like, it almost seems like these clones were designed to fight Bad Batch. So I was like, okay, I kind of want to know more about them too, because there was no information on them. They just did their job and chopped the dude's hand off and left.
Did have a bit of a bizarro world Bad Batch aspect, because there's one guy that even had a tech look to his goggles. That was the more interior fight. Once Omega sets him free from the chairs or whatever, that there was a guy that had red goggles or red something that made me think, oh, that looked like, that whole tech speculation. Oh, could that have been tech? I think that was thrown in just not because we were speculating on the tech, but they knew we'd be speculating on the tech because we saw him die, but we didn't see his dead body. That type of thing that would go on and on about. There were a lot of wonderful little throwbacks and callbacks and all that. And the biggest one, literally the elephant in the room that we haven't talked about yet, is we got full circle. We got some, and not even finality because he's still out there roaming around, but we got the Zillo Beast back. This epic, this awesome sort of thing that was a bit of a throwaway monster of the week of sorts back in the Clone Wars 10 years ago, a long time ago, that had a cool little 3 or 2 episode or multi-episode arc, but ultimately was what happened to the Zillo Beast? We had these questions that never got answered until, and he didn't get answered in this episode. He was answered previously because we saw the Zillo Beast, or that they were cloning him. We saw like a baby Zillo Beast or a clone of a Zillo Beast, whatever that was, whatever. But we got the Zillo Beast. We got the Zillo Beast doing some awesome terrorizing of Mount Tantus.
Rampage, baby.
Yeah, Rampage, setting him free, setting him loose. And there was a line in there. I think it's Emery and Echo, and he asked, "What's that?" And somehow they realized it was the Zillo Beast or a distraction or something. She's like, "Your doings" or something. What does he says it was Omega. She's like, "How do you know?" And it's like, "Well, it's because it's what I would do." There was a great line. Boy, I wish I remember far away removed from it, but there was just a great line of, he recognized Clone Force 99 actions, and one of his crew doing what they would do was, the distraction. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's definitely going to have Omega's fingerprints all over it. Love that.
So it all ended really. We talked about the things that did happen. We talked things that people were expecting that didn't happen. I was absolutely convinced that even up to the last 15 minutes that Rex was still going to turn up with his gang and save the day and that kind of stuff, and that didn't happen. Tech is definitely dead. Well, or is he? I mean, got still open-handed, no body, no death.
I'm in the camp that he's dead because they had to pull the goggles. Yeah, they had to pull the goggles from his dead body. I do wish that they made like a little stone pile to bury his body or whatever. Because like I said, I need that finality because I watched a dude get chopped in half, fall down a 1,000-foot tunnel, and brush himself off and walk away on his hands. Like, I need finality that these characters are dead. So when you burn Darth Vader, that dude ain't coming. Well, I guess he's coming back in ghost form. But when you burn Vader, he ain't coming back. So I do wish that we had more finality with such large storytelling that Star Wars does. But I am in the camp. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's dead. They pulled the goggles off his dead body. He's dead. So they don't have to show him mangled or anything, but because I understand what the audience of the show is. But if it's just like a pile of rocks kind of there, and them being like, okay, well, we need to go now type of thing. And then I was like, okay, finality. Yes. but then a hand would burst through the rocks and be like, "Oh, I'm a lot," so, whatever.
I'm coconated.
It's not a
That's
Stephen
on my
King
floor.
story.
Yes.
Whatever fits into it. So,
Ryan,
And
you
then-
talked about the Captain Rex. The title of the episode sort of lend itself to that.
Yes.
The cavalry has arrived, I think is what it was called or whatever. And right, we did. I had the same sort of, well, it's Rex is going to come, help rescue him out of this. But then there was there was multiple scenes. You could pick a couple of different scenes in the episode to where the cavalry has arrived. Is it Omega and Echo freeing all the clones and freeing everybody, or is it the clones themselves that chose to fight with them, helping to rescue the Bad Batch that are in the chairs? It was a wonderful, well thought out, I think, naming of the episode in terms of the cavalry arrived. It wasn't this one scene where the cavalry has arrived. There were multiple echoes of the cavalry arriving to get to the ultimate point that is the end of the episode where they're all free, escaping and getting rid of Mount Tantus.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit during the start of the episode. I think when they were in the forest, heading the way towards the encampment and stuff. I think we said, well, somebody said along the lines, "Oh, quick, go and send the signal to Rex," and then something else happens. And then something else happens. And I think, well, it doesn't happen again. I think, well, are they ever going to send that signal to Rex? I was thinking at that point. Don't think it's going to happen because everything kept coming up that stopped them from sending that signal. So I was kind of thinking, well, maybe Rex isn't going to come after all.
Yeah, and I understand wanting to keep it like a smaller cast. It doesn't need to be all these people return for a big giant battle, and it's just like, no, you're just trying to escape and you blew some stuff. Now let's say sacrifice yourself, to keep the information. And it was kind of what we expected, where the only way that it can jump to the sequel trilogy, and they're still working with this, or post Return of the Jedi, if you include Mandalorian, is like if they destroy everything and they have to start from scratch. And it's like, okay, well, that's what they did. All right, cool.
And they did it in a absolutely clever way, I thought. That Nala Se, not Hemlock, who was the bad Imperial guy? Rampart. Yeah, that scene between them, him, getting freed with the clones, and then, going back to being a bad guy, trying to grab the data for himself or whatever, and having her there, and that dialogue between those two, the beautiful bookend poetic nature that is the Kaminoan taking out the guy that was responsible for taking out Kamino. That full circle sort of bit of that scene I loved it. I just absolutely loved that dialogue between those two, and her ability to stand there and know what she was going to do, the sacrifice she was going to make, but knowing the value to that sacrifice, which is what you just said, Ryan. Yeah, destroying all of that data, effectively setting because she knew what the Emperor was after to some extent, I think. So yeah, effectively setting that all back in a big way, in a huge way, because it's not until the sequel trilogy to where timeline, so it's a good far ways off in the Mandalorian to where he's still hunting it. He's still trying to figure out whatever it is he's trying to figure out to allow for the cloning aspect of it. Oh, I love that scene. That was tough to watch, but powerful, in terms of action to the story and what it was bringing to the story with the Rampart following her and trying to collect that data and being a bad Imperial that he is, but Nala Se actually.
It was another one of those Star Wars moments that rhyme.
Yep.
I love that.
I was quiet because I was watching the episode and I was trying to see where he cut his hand off. Super hard to find. It was like the guy had that assassin clone had him on the ground, and he had that laser kind of sword knife thingy. Yeah, he starts hacking at his arm. I didn't even realize that he was doing it. And then he gets stopped, and then he just does it in one.
Doesn't he make a comment about his hand, something or whatever, that you should be more careful with your hand or something like that? I don't know.
I just had forgotten that happened. That's crazy.
I remember that it was an awesome finale in that sense. In terms of how the lead up to it and what we were speculating had to happen and should happen and all that, I found it a wonderful finale that. It had a lot of twists and turns that when you look back on it, you're like, well, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. But we didn't speculate much of any of it. The whole Nala Se, the thing I was just talking about, Nala Se and Rampart and destroying everything. It's that they did it when, well, it was a very well done, very well written, very well executed finale, if you will, in terms of tying up a lot of loose ends, giving us a loose end tie up from years ago with the Zilla Beast. Yeah.
Well, it basically does like tie up the Clone Wars. So the Clone Wars are probably done now. We're probably not going to see anything like left in that era because it's pretty much it. Like they were the last remnants of the clones, and now we know that the clones kind of just got faded out and
tested on and dummy and just whatever fodder they were, because there's not many in that, at least in that particular part of Mount Tantus, that got freed or got.
Yeah.
Well, they were part of the fight against the super bad, so probably a number of them got taken out there to help. But right, where are the clones? We think about that, or we wonder about that. Where are all the clones? What are all the clones doing out in the world? But they've been captured, they've been tested, they've been.
Or they just were left on their own for nothing, like we see in Kenobi, where the guy's just on the street begging for money.
Begging for money.
They didn't care. Yeah.
There wasn't so many of them. Obviously, the senator from Tucci, or Senator Tucci, I think it is.
Yeah.
And the trying to come up with a pension plan for the clones or some sort of retirement plan that probably phases out, because they're just there's not that many of them left, or just it doesn't gain any traction to be a thing, that there's not many of them out there.
Like the handful that are around, they just forget about them. They're no threat anymore because they're old. That's why you get Rex and the other guys on that planet, and Rebels. So.
All fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a finale, it wrapped everything up all quite nicely. People often have problems with finales and not being meeting expectations and all that kind of stuff. But I think this one was quite
finite.
Well, yeah. So I think it's quite. There was nothing. They didn't throw anything. There was nothing else. No spanner thrown in the last minute, really, or anything. From the left field. I was hoping for something a bit more revealing or something that I wasn't expecting. That didn't happen. It was all just kind of just tying everything up and putting a little bow on the top and packing it up.
Either Omega goes on to do something spectacular on her own, or she's just another rebel that's in the fight. That's just part of the.
Yeah. Imagine she said at the end, "I'm Omega Skywalker." I mean, internet blows up.
So there's one person that she can be in the future, and that's the Armorer. That's it. She is the Armorer, 100%.
She's a clone.
I suppose that's the next speculation, isn't it? And then when will we see Omega again, sort of thing?
I said that first season. Like she probably grows up to be the Armorer.
How much of
I remember that. I just say, I remember that. Like, I remember someone guessing that. Like, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, she's still alive, and she's got, like, this long blonde hair, and she matches the actress now. And I'm like, well, I guess she's the Armorer. So.
Not quite so ridiculous now, is it, my friend? How much of a fist pump was it when Hemlock's getting away, the ship's coming in to take him off the raised platform or whatever, and then there's this awesome sniper blast that takes out one of the engines and takes out the other engine, the ship crashes, and it's our heroes catching the bad guy and finally ending him. I love that. I really enjoyed the heck of this finale. There was so much good in that scene as well. I don't remember, how did Crosshair, without his hand, snipe? Somehow he used Hunter, right? He leaned on his shoulder, or Hunter pulled the trigger, or he was his stabilizing platform or something.
Yeah, his arm, didn't he, or something? He had the gun on his arm or something.
Somehow he used Hunter, right, to make the shots, because he also did the sniper move to free. Hunter says, Omega knows what to do, or wait for Omega, she'll make her move or something like that, and she does, and then Crosshair takes the shot and takes him out. I loved it. It was exciting to watch. It really, really was. I'm excited talking about it again. We have to go back and watch the episode, because I just remember him taking out the engine. There was one shot fired that took out one of the engines and started crashing the ship. It did, but he needed somehow. There was a quick scene of him leaning on Hunter, or somehow using Hunter, I'm guessing, as a stabilizing base or something, or to hold the gun up.
I thought he rested the gun on across his other arm.
Is that what it was?
This sort of thing, but I can't remember.
But we were talking about finality and finite and just ending, right? Hemlock's definitely gone. He got shot and fell off a platform.
We didn't see the body. We didn't see the body.
Yeah, we didn't see the body. And now say Rampart, they're gone. Tarkin says destroy the place, so it's technically, or it's posthumously gone.
Yeah, he's dead.
I think they wrap. The other thing that's not wrapped up is the Zillo beast is loose on the planet. So that is still a loose thread that's out there, and you can use it. The Godzilla type of thing that Filoni, he can come back in some way if somebody needed, because the Zillo beast is still out there on that planet, and there's no reason that he would be contained or anything. It's like Alien, it's just you don't visit that planet because it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, Tarkin would have to evacuate everybody from there first,
Yeah,
he wasn't too concerned about the Zillo beast, right? Yeah. It was loose and running around, but he was none too concerned about it.
At some point, it has to turn into a dead planet because it'll eat everything, right?
Does it eat vegetation or eat electricity?
Well, it's not going to be much electric there, is there?
Yeah, there's
blow the base up, but it likes that, or it thrives on that. But yeah, what's it do?
Right.
Actually, it was very dormant wherever they found it. Right, they found it. Who found it? Was Obi-Wan and Anakin woke it up in the bottom of some cave somewhere?
Yeah, it was causing earthquakes under the ground, and
it was dormant, and it was. So yeah, it could just lead a very sedentary lifestyle until something comes and wants to wake it up, or
I think it just wakes up every so often and eats.
Oh, okay, so he'd be probably the last thing alive on that planet then.
Yeah, where there's not going to be much. The Lurka hounds and all the other things that were on there that were of any sort of concern is not going to be of any match against that thing.
He'll
the Emperor doesn't know. What would the Emperor know about it? Because Tarkin says blow it all up, so there's not a lot of history in terms of my Zillo beast is caused all that. What happened to it? Let's go get it. So there could be something to him wanting to get it back.
I mean, he had it and he wasn't doing anything with it for how many years? So he was probably
Didn't he?
Well, they were trying. Yeah, he wanted to try to figure out. Well, we speculated because of its armor. He wanted to try to figure out a way to utilize that or something. I don't know.
Make it into stormtrooper armor or something.
Mm-hmm.
That you get blasted once and fly across the room.
Yeah.
And die.
Yeah. It doesn't penetrate the armor, but the impact of light sends you across the room, knocks you out. But what we say, it's Mount Tantus. That's the planet is something else, didn't we? We had this discussion already. I think the planet's name is something else. Anyway, sad it's over. It went by incredibly quick. Lamenting the final season and getting in the multiple episode drops that were at the beginning and in the middle, and here it is, the Bad Batches, all wrapped up. Who knew we were going to get it? Who knew what it was going to? Yeah, who knew we were going to get it? Who knew what it was going to be about? And who knew it was going to be so damn awesome? I think it'll stand the test of time too for any rewatch or anybody that goes back and wants some history, especially if they find a way to tie Omega into something futuristic or whatever. That it'll have some fodder.
I've heard rumors that she's going to be in Skeleton Crew. I mean, I don't know that for sure, and I take it with a grain of salt given the sources. But I've heard rumors that she might make. Yeah, that she might make an appearance in Skeleton Crew, but who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, the beauty of the Star Wars storytelling, right? They left it open-ended enough that she could do something useful, something impactful, or something that makes you go, "Oh, wait, who's she? What's she about?" And come back and watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Skeleton Crew takes place during The Mandalorian, so she's worked with clones. I don't know. It's just because she's kind of age. It's technically she could, I guess. She could also be in Rise of Skywalker. She's still alive. The story's 100% open. Anything they want to do.
I thought the aged up Omega was just an awesome aged up Omega. That end scene. It looked believable. It looked enough like Omega, but looked like an older Omega.
Yeah,
she was convincing.
Okay. Right, that's the finale of Bad Batch. Probably
We got the Star Destroyer. We got the Star first look at the Star Destroyer that we see in A New Hope. So that was kind of.
Oh, that's right, huh?
Kind of cool. There's a lot of Easter.
There's a lot to digest.
Yeah, there was a lot to digest in this finale. That is great connective tissue, ties it all together, has characters new and old, their stories involved. That highly recommend it if you haven't seen The Bad Batch to go watch The Bad Batch. It's not a kiddie cartoon, that's for sure.
Well, we just spoiled the whole show.
Touche if you're listening to this later somewhere down the line, right? It's not going to be a advertisement to go watch it. So yeah, with that, then we got more Star Wars content delivered to us shortly thereafter this finale.
Tales of the Empire on May the 4th day. As we were saying, as I said, 87 minutes in total, as it all adds up. Split into two different arcs. So we had Morgan Elsbeth. Yeah, it's like Elizabeth spelled wrong, isn't it?
Yes.
Elsbeth. Yeah, so we've got gonna get me going now. You have. We've got Morgan Elsbeth's arc, and we've got Varys Offay's arc. So, right,
which is like barista coffee with some letters missing.
Yes. I have to start thinking of that as Star Wars characters, and I can't imagine them as something else. Barris Offay, it's like banana toffee, isn't it? And they sound like banana toffee.
What? Kind of does, yeah.
There is a banana toffee.
I think Ricky just gave you a beautiful what it sounds like. Barista coffee, but missing some things.
I was just thinking about banana toffee. Okay.
Banoffee pie.
Yeah, I've been thinking about ChatGPT too much, Steve.
the Morgan's Elsbeth arc. Who thought we needed that?
Hold on a sec. So we had 3 episodes: the path of fear, the path of anger, the path of hate. See what they did there. I didn't see that at the time, but I saw that explained to me afterwards. So in the first one, we have it's all set during the Clone Wars. General Grievous and the Separatist Droid Army massacre the Night Sisters of Dathomir. Boo! Except Morgan Elsbeth, still can't say it, who is saved by the nearby Mountain Clan against the wishes of the clan's leader, the Matron. That means something different in the UK. Carry on, Matron. Never mind. Morgan and the 3 young clan members attempt to recover Night Sister weapons. They are attacked by droids, and the Matron's daughter is killed. The Matron saves the others, but abandons Morgan. Boo! Whatever you want to say it. Then in the second one, we've got the Path of Anger. So that's set to the reign of the Empire. Morgan becomes magistrate of the resource-rich planet Corvus and promises to bring jobs and prosperity for the local population, like any good government. She designs a new TIE Defender fighter, but her proposal to make it for the Empire is rejected by Moff Zidane. Admiral Thrawn takes an interest in the proposal and sends his assistant, or assassin even, Rock, to attack Morgan. After she holds her own, Thrawn accepts her project and offers his assistance. That's the bit where he says, offer accepted or something. What does he say? Can't remember what he says. Anyhow, then in the third one, we have the Path of Hate. This is after the fall of the Empire. Former Corvus citizen Nadura returns as an ambassador of the New Republic. She demands that Morgan step down as magistrate due to her mistreatment of the locals and allow Corvus to join the New Republic. Morgan, who has received a vision that she believes is key to the future, kills Nadura and begins burning down Corvus's forests. Before she dies, Nadura sends a distress signal to Bo-Katan.
What?
Yes.
You gotta watch subtitles.
Yeah.
You gotta watch
turn the subtitles on. I did not catch the voice at all, but had the subtitles on. I'm like, that's going to be a nugget, because I don't know that I picked that voice up. I don't know how many people would pick that voice up. Yeah, turn the subtitles on, and you'd be.
I don't know if it came from voice. What came first, the voice or the subtitles?
I just assumed it was Ahsoka.
Yeah.
No, which I thought was weird contacting her anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, it is
so
weird.
I gotta say, like, this story, it really made her a good villain, because by the time the 3rd episode rolled around, I'm like, man, I really hate her. Not in like an in-universe context where she's pretty much took over this planet, tricked these people, and is burning down the woods for no reason other than to burn down woods. But she's just mean, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so happy that she's dead or whatever. So it's like good. She's
well, she like ruined the lives of the Mountain Clan people. Like she just chaos.
Yeah, she got them killed too. I forgot about that. So it's just she really is just she's just terrible from beginning to end. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's nothing redeeming in this. She's just
the whole time, every time in this thing when she was doing something like jerky, I was like, I'm so glad they turn on her at the end and kill her and leave her for dead in the Ahsoka. I was like, so she got what she deserved at the end.
Yeah, so that definitely helped flesh all that out, because I didn't know if they were going to try to make her like, because her beginning's sad. The Night Sisters all die. Yeah. Grievous looked amazing, by the way, like amazing lighting, everything, where he just looks evil, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. So, and then like you said, she goes to the Mountain Clan. They're like, we don't want part of this battle, and then she convinces people, and they're like, we shouldn't have been part of the battle. And it's like, okay, well, she learned her lesson. No, she's just a total jerk by the time the second episode runs around. And she's using these people which very interesting that I guess TIE Defender was her idea. I always assumed it was Thrawn's. So I'm like, okay, well, you took that away from Thrawn, but I guess it's his job to find ideas and push them. So
isn't it fascinating how, like, in universe, like, she was destroyed by the Separatists, who essentially were working for the Emperor, and so now she dedicated her life to the Republic or to the Empire to fight against, to get revenge for, what happened to her people. I'm like, you're working for the people that killed your people.
Yeah, I think I brought that up, and I'm like, wait a minute, they're the ones that did this, right?
But they don't know.
To realize that.
Yeah, they still don't know. They think the Separatists were still a separate thing, and the Emperor saved the day, and all that stuff. Like, it's just crazy how brainwashed they all, ended up being.
Brainwashed or duped. Yeah, like you said, they just don't know, right? They just don't know. I was thrilled to see Grievous when this episode opens up, and it's very dark, very red, and everything that's going on when the Night Sisters plan or whatever, and then it's Grievous, and you're just like, oh, well, that's a kind of a black. It was cool to see him, and then there was a brief shot of a droid drop ship or gunship, some sort of ship or whatever. I posted a picture of it in the chat. That it's a very creepy looking design. We didn't see much of it we don't think we see it in the movies at all, but we didn't see much of it in the Clone Wars or anything, but there was a shot of it as well. Just the callbacks. It's neat having
Weren't
these
those on
tales
Kashyyyk?
of
Those are the ones flying in Kashyyyk. Yeah,
maybe?
in episode 3.
Perhaps.
That's why Yoda comes with it and Tarple.
The callbacks, the throwback, having these tales of, and instantly, as someone who has consumed all of this extra Star Wars content, on screen, whatever, it's fun, it's neat, it's a thrill to have those sort of little throwbacks and those little callbacks to those design elements, those models, those pieces that just instantly throw you back and have you remember the fun times it was watching those things for the first time. So yeah, seeing Grievous was exciting, and seeing that gunship was exciting.
Did any of you guys, like, when you saw Morgan for the first time on Ahsoka? Well, no, it was on Mandalorian, right? Yeah. Did you guys assume she was a Night Sister, or was that a shock when that was revealed to you guys?
Well, I had no idea she was a Night Sister.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I had no idea.
I didn't know.
So I can't remember.
Do you think that was like a change, or do you think that was the intention the entire time?
Oh, that'd be the intention, I'm sure.
I think it probably was, but it's just. I was hoping to see Merrin.
I like it as an idea, as not intention, Ricky, and somebody throws it out there at a boardroom as a story group. What can we do? What if she was Night Sister? Oh, I like that. What can we do? Is anything in place that discounts that? No. Okay, let's run with that and build a backstory that way versus. I mean, that's how Lucas did it. He didn't have it. He had it all planned out, but he didn't.
Magic, right? She was able to use magic and stuff. She had powers
during Mandalorian.
No, I mean during the rest of the time we see her. That's what I'm saying. In Mandalorian, I don't remember her using any powers or anything.
Yeah,
I'd have to rewatch that.
We wondered how she got her stature on that planet, and being a Night Sister and being spooky and scary and a witch and whatever, it helps to explain how she kind of what this Tales of is showing us, how she got her stature as the magistrate of that planet or whatever she is of that planet.
Well, I mean, she really didn't have powers anyways, though, did she? Like, Ventress did, because Ventress was the Force sensitive, and I don't think Morgan is really like that.
Witch apprentice, the burning of the forest. Did she do that because she went to the board meeting with the Empire to show off her project, and they were like, "Yeah, no, that's expensive. We're not gonna do that. That's a crazy idea. But we like all the resources and the people and everything that your planet has, so we're gonna come make use of that." So does she burn the forest so that the Empire the planet doesn't have resources anymore? Initially, I thought she was just doing it to tick off the people, just to show. But why?
That's in the third episode. She burns the forest, though. So that's like years later, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
When does she have board?
Well, after the fall of the Empire. Yeah, after the fall of the Empire. Yeah.
Yeah, then she burns it down. So that's why when Ahsoka shows up on the planet, it's all burned.
Why? So she just does it out of being
she's a jerk. Yeah.
A jerk, right? Just to being a B, right? She just out of spite. Okay. Right, the timeline doesn't match up. The timeline doesn't match up for what I was speculating of burn it all down, so it's not a resource for the Empire. Because
so even if they escape, they're not going to have any resources, so they have to depend on her, kind of thing,
what she brings to the table.
Yeah.
You can say it, Ron. She's a B word. She's Bantha Poodoo. You can say it.
Can I say it or not? You can't say it.
Bantha Poodoo. Yeah, that's the B word.
Yeah, she Poodoo.
For Poodoo. Oh.
But a great. I loved it from a Tales of the Empire. From a Tales of, if they want to do this Tales of, they can have a lot of fun with that in terms of Jedi. They can do Tales of the Jedi again, and it doesn't have to be called season 2. It's just Tales of the Jedi, and it's the next stories. I don't.
Tales of the Resistance.
Yeah, you can do Tales of great little. If there's a story to be told, the Morgan Elsbeth wasn't clamoring for it, but I'm glad to have gotten it on screen to see more about who, where, why, what this character is, and how, and the tie in to all of it, the connective tissue to all of it. I was fine to have these stories told to us. I think it's great. It's a great model for it. And like I say, to get throwbacks, they did look gorgeous, didn't they? Got Rook. I mean, come on, what more could you want?
I cheered when I seen that. I was
like, it's Rook.
Oh, Rook. Yeah, I think it's great when you introduce a character. People always want a backstory, and there's no on-running series to tie it into. Like, well, let's just drop random episodes at random timelines in Clone Wars, because that's the problem. The random time jumps, it goes all over the place. Oh, this was before episode 1, but it's way after this 6th episode, and you're like, wait, what? So, but having
a one-shot comic.
Like this Tales of. I feel like I got all I needed on her. Like, I got all of her information, her main points, and I could just jump back to Ahsoka and rewatch her story unfold even more. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that's what I needed, man. It's shorter than a book, shorter than a comic series. And I'm just like, okay, that was great. So Tales of Resistance, Bounty Hunters, Jabba, like whatever it is.
First Order,
series. Oh my gosh, it's endless. Imagine it. F219 story, Traitor from The Force Awakens. Oh, I'll do a backflip, man. There's so much potential for just a Tales of, and you just fill in one random character. What happened to DJ? It's just Tales of anything you want, and it doesn't have to be a long running show that tries to fit into an era. It can jump from era to era, prequels, sequels, original. It can jump anywhere and still be kind of lumped in as, oh, that's just the Tales of program.
So Tales of the Rebellion, that'd be awesome.
The consternation it was, I didn't need to. They could have chose so many other people to give us Tales of or tell us. Yeah, they could have. We got Morgan. Why have a problem with the Tales of Morgan Elsbeth, not somebody we needed to know about? Well, that's a story they had to tell. They'll have others to tell. There's plenty of other characters to tell us about, and we'll get them in due time as they come up with good stories about them.
And we already have stories for Maul. We have stories for Vader. He's in the comics. Maul, we have Clone Wars. Palpatine's in Clone Wars and books. Like, all the main characters for Tales of the Empire that people guessed it would be about. They talked about characters that were in the Empire, but it wasn't like, well, here's a backstory of Palpatine. No, just read his book and watch Clone Wars, man. You'll get everything you need on it. So I like that there's no crossing and stepping on any toes. It's, well, let's do characters that people want stories on, like Barriss, like Morgan. It's like, well, I want backstories. What's the backstory to Morgan? What's the future for Barriss? And I'm like, yes.
I think that people are missing that this is kind of a callback to the Tales of series in the old expanded universe, the no longer canon, what's called the Legends now. What they're doing is picking out like more or less minor characters and kind of fleshing out their backstory the way they did with the Tales of books.
Yeah,
except they're doing it better than
Marie, I would be that person because I didn't do the expanded universe, so I didn't know there was a sort of a Tales of expanded universe mindset or storytelling method as well. So they're delving back into Legends a lot, and I actually kind of like that they're delving back into Legends a lot for content lately because I mean Dave Filoni is all about that sort of thing. So that's a definite callback to that, and people aren't getting that, you know, the Tales of weren't about like Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader or any of those people. It was about the people that you saw in the background. Like they had Tales of the Cantina, which explored every one of those little characters that you saw in the background of the cantina.
Yeah. And for someone like me who doesn't really enjoy very many legend stories, Tales of Jabba's Palace, it was really good. And I have Tales of Bounty Hunter, I just haven't read it, but it taught me about the Boromir monks. It taught me about like the weird dude that sucks people's souls with tendrils from his nose. They're like weird stuff like that. And that's why I love the From a Certain Point of View books, because it's about background characters. And the Tales of, well, I wish the stories were a little bit shorter, and some of them are ridiculous, like IG-11 or 88 takes over the Death Star, and he's getting ready to fly the Death Star, but Lando blows it up. So it's like, what? So it is wonky at times, but I love that it focuses on all the bounty hunters. And you wouldn't think Tales of Jabba's Palace, which Return of the Jedi doesn't rank super high. I really don't care about. That's one's in it's Return. So I really don't care about Jabba's Palace, but it had so much backstory. It talked about the spiders, you know, the mechanical Boromir monk spiders, and all the people that were in there. And I'm like, okay, this was a really good legend story, man. And that's why I like it's just now they take that idea, like you said, and they just let's just expand on characters. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Like, you know, Morgan Elsbeth. I mean, she's kind of a major figure, but not like a figure along the lines of like Han Solo or Luke Skywalker or any of those characters. So knowing more about her kind of works in this context.
Yeah, she wasn't big enough to get a book or a comic or her own series. It's just like, well, here's 3 episodes. It's all meat and potatoes.
I was wondering about that because Tales of the Jedi it did Ahsoka, and then it did Dooku, which are their major characters, and it did was that just Ahsoka and Dooku? Was there anybody else? But I wonder, the Empire is so like kind of scant for characters. So I mean, you can't do a Vader Tales of the Empire. You can't do it. You know, that's too much because we already know a lot about them. So it's good that they dive into like the roster and then, you know, the bench pretty much.
And it's characters that people needed to know about.
Yeah.
I would love to see like a Tales of Admiral Pieg or, you know, something like that. But we kind of know it's explored in other ways. Like
who was the one that was everyone always talks about? He was a rebel spy. The one that
From a Certain Point of View.
In Empire Strikes Back, did they do that one in a Certain Point of View? When he's like, he jumped out of hyperspace too early because he's trying to tip off.
No. And From a Certain Point of View, it clarified that like, no, he was just an idiot. They canceled that theory out.
Oh, okay.
Well, this Tales of the Empire, as we're going on about Morgan Elsbeth, it is Tales of the Empire in that it brings Thrawn into the mix. That while Morgan's the main focus of the arc, so to speak, it does bring Thrawn in and give us some interesting or just some backstory into Thrawn. I guess they could do a Tales of the Empire that's about Thrawn, but he's in this giving some more information to his motivation, who he is, or what makes him tick. It was just that Thrawn was a part of this Tales of the Empire arc. Because he's going on with her, he monologues with her, right, about the rebellion and how it destroys both sides, and he questions her. There was something in there. He questions her about during the meeting you were asked why, during the board meeting you were asked why are you doing this, and she's like, long live the Empire or whatever, and he's like, well, that's a lie. What, why are you really doing this? That it gave us some insight into Thrawn as well. It was all Morgan Elsbeth, the arc for sure, but it did help to I don't want to say introduce, but you know what I mean? It just helped to expand some Thrawn, some Empire. It was a Tales of the Empire in one piece, whatever it is, how she had to play into factor into it, and where Thrawn is going to, how he factors into it a little bit, because he liked her design, right? I was like we thought it was his from the Clone Wars or whatever, or Ahsoka or whatever, but we learned in this that it's hers. He liked it, but thought it was expensive too. But did that Thrawn thing where he's like, the Empire is the Empire. They can't see the forest through the trees. They'll trade lives. They just throw lives at things versus the money. He's not a bean counter. That he saw value in it.
He said they're just all greedy.
Whereas others were they'll take the money to have a cannon fodder, stormtroopers and defenseless TIE fighters. Because wasn't this TIE thing supposed to have shields? And
Thrawn looked scary as hell. Like, he looked good in this thing.
Shields
like the villain.
Shields and hyperdrive, yeah. So it was a hype, and I guess we need that, and right, that needs to be explained and be a part of stuff as to why the TIE fighters are cannon fodder, and it's because the Empire's mindset that Thrawn doesn't like, where they trade lives for they beat you up in volume, having cheap things versus cheap throwaway TIE fighters, but many of them versus super expensive things with shields and hyperdrive that would be much more effective. And that's why we don't have those things. That's why we don't see them in A New Hope in the original trilogy, that they don't have better. They have that. He
doesn't like playing checkers.
They have better stuff, but he wants to play chess with.
And it's funny that you use like that, because that's exactly how I play Star Wars Unlimited, the card game. I play cheap characters and I flood the board and just try to win with overwhelming odds, and I sacrifice characters left and right. So it's just like, wait a minute, he plays aggro. I know what that is. Or Thrawn plays, planning. So in elimination, I'm like, okay, that's this cheap, simple, dumb way. I'm like, yeah, that's how I play. So that's my strategy, just overwhelming odds. So
I had that thought. I was saying it, Ryan. There is something to that. Right, you're throwing out the cheap. The TIE fighter. I'm thinking there's one scene, I think it's in Rogue One, A New Hope. There's a lot of scenes we've seen where they just they release the hounds and just wave after wave of TIE fighters are coming after our good guys, and it's just like, oh my goodness, how are they? But they're ineffective ships. They got no shields and they got terrible pilots. So they end up being one well piloted X-wing takes out 9 of them in that one scene. You have a Poe Dameron that's a great pilot. He can take out a bunch of them. So it's that overwhelming via cheap stuff mentality that the Empire has that ticks off Thrawn to no end.
And Stephen mentioned it for a quick moment, but I definitely like the titles. The path of fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, then hate will lead to suffering. So it's just a good choice of titles, especially on the Mandalorian week where episode 1 dropped. So so those were good.
Well, hey, we didn't the Bo-Katan, right? The whoever comes tries to talk her out or talk her down, and she destroys them or destroys their ship, but they at least get the message off. And the subtitles tell you that it's Bo-Katan that says, wait,
why would it be Bo-Katan?
How could it help? Well, that's who that person called. Why wouldn't it be? That's who that person called.
I don't know.
So and then that explains how Bo knows to tell the Mandalorian, well, if you're looking for Ahsoka, she might be here because I told her she was looking for somebody with Thrawn, and I told her to go there. So it had a great tie-in, but I did not pick her voice up at all. If they use the same character or the same person, actress, for that voice, I was never going to pick. Yeah, it gave voice credit to her. So I was never going to pick that off, but having the subtitles on, letting us know that it was Bo-Katan really helps to flesh out who answered.
Yeah, we just all assumed it was Ahsoka because the Force was burned down, and now Ahsoka's going to show up and fight her.
Yeah, but if to tie it into the Mandalorian part of things or whatever, no, it's Bo who tells Mando where Ahsoka could be, And now we know why. How she knows
But
that.
it does make me wonder, why are they contacting Bo? Like,
He has no relation to the Republic.
Yeah, like I wonder if, like, what's the backstory between that character who's from that planet and Bo? I'm like, well, why is it Bo? I mean, that was a good point. But I guess you have to
You're right, it is. Yeah.
write a story for something that was already written, you know? Like you said, it's Bo got Ahsoka, so it's like, okay, well, we'll just say we contacted Bo because he can't change his own story like he changes other stories that Filoni does. But so it's like, well, I already wrote that it was Bo.
Well, did the Night of Tears happen already at this point? Was Bo like in charge of Mandalore at this time?
It's beautiful Star Wars storytelling. Is that right? You bring up a good point that I'm sorry I poo-pooed, because, right, why would that person, how did they have any ties to Bo-Katan? Because that was an Imperial, or that was a Senate, that was a
New Republic senator.
New Republic senator, you know, a politician, an elected thing. Why would they have any ties to Bo-Katan? But that's a story for another time. You know, that's the beauty of Star Wars storytelling. That is somebody could come up with something clever
about that, but I can't remember what it was now. Either that she would be the nearest planet to that one.
Nearest magistrate.
Yeah, I don't know. There was someone explained somewhere online, and I thought, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense, and I've totally forgotten what it was.
Clearly, you know, there's something that works, something that has to work.
Did she specifically call her, or did she just send out a distress call?
Right, that's what I'm wondering. Was it just a broadcast to anyone and everyone that's out there, or was it a specific?
And Bo's like, who is this? You know.
And why if you send out a distress call, why did it take 30 seconds to answer it? I mean, that's bad show, really, isn't it? I mean, it's distress call. It's like 999, isn't it? You don't get or 911 for you guys. You don't take 30 seconds to answer the distress call.
Well, depends on what city you live in. No, definitely a story for another time. Let's dissect the Barriss Offee arc that was Tales of the Empire.
Yeah, so the other arc is Barriss Offee, or
Barrister
Coffee, as we're going for here. So the first episode was called Devoted, and this is following Order 66 and the Galactic Republic's reorganization into the Empire. Former Jedi Barrister Coffee, who is serving a life sentence after turning on the Jedi Order and attacking the Jedi Temple, is brought to the under construction Fortress Inquisitios, where it's called to be trained. It's a Grand Inquisitor. Some strange Latin or something, isn't it? And now I pressed the wrong button now. After she kills a fellow recruit in the duel, Barriss is welcomed as an Inquisitor and introduced to a new master, the Sith Lord Darth Vader. Might have heard of him before. And then in this second episode, we have Barriss and the fourth sister, another Inquisitor, are sent to find a Jedi who is in hiding. They question some villagers and learn the Jedi is on a nearby mountain. Barriss becomes disillusioned with the Empire when the fourth sister murders the villagers and then cuts down the Jedi after Barriss convinces them to surrender. Barriss uses the Force to push the fourth sister off the mountain and then aids the wounded Jedi.
And she died immediately.
Sorry? Well, yeah, we don't know, do we? That's another thing. We have no idea what happened to that Jedi. And then the last one, years after leaving the Inquisitors, Barriss is a healer and a teacher. She's visited by a family who are trying to protect their Force-sensitive child from the fourth sister, who follows them. Barriss traps the fourth sister in a maze as the family escapes and attempts to convince her to turn to the light side of the Force. When she accidentally stabs Barriss with the lightsaber, the fourth sister feels regret and chooses to carry Barriss to safety. Let me get the old end of it. Is Barriss alive or dead? There we go.
Yes. Maybe it's because it followed the Bad Batch, but this being open-ended was kind of frustrating because I'm like, wait a minute, you just gave me an open-ended story with Bad Batch and Omega. Like, now you give me an open-ended story to Barriss, and it's just like, give me some closure here, man, because, like, you know, it's now this character. Now the fourth sister, but now the fourth sister's alive. Like, I'm
well, she took her place. She's
and I can say, I hate Barriss Offee with a passion now because, and I think of this in universe, she caused so much problems because she freaking got Ahsoka like kicked off the Jedi, she caused so many problems.
But she wasn't wrong though. That was the whole thing. Like, especially with this, it made it even more like
she turned her back on the Empire because she's like, I'm gonna destroy the Jedi because the Empire is the right way to go. And then years later, she's like, no, I was wrong. And I'm like, no, listen here, Bantha. Like, you screwed up. Like, you were wrong. And I hate because people use that as evidence to like, and I've challenged people on why the Jedi are not the problem in the PT, because they use stuff from Clone Wars to say, well, look, see how close-minded the Jedi were, see what all the, like, no, these people like Krell and Barriss Offee have a twisted point of view. You're talking 2 out of 10,000, 3 if you count Dooku, but they were all wrong at the end. But people use that as evidence of why the Jedi were, quote unquote, the problem. And it really frustrates me. Yeah, exactly. Just
from a certain point of view, because was Barriss corrupted?
No, she wasn't corrupted by the dark side. No,
right,
she just
not by the dark side, but did she have anyone whispering in her ear?
No.
As to the problem, what's going on and what's wrong with the Jedi. She kind of came of her own.
Yeah, she saw that the people were like being
that
used
does help to show how Jedi fall from Jedi grace and fall and then become corruptible, malleable pieces to the Emperor's plan, or just to how they fall to the dark. That's why you have that constant battle of light and dark and balance and not fall to the dark side, because you think you see things, you're like, well, we should use our powers for X, Y, and Z. Anakin constantly was challenged, like, it's like, we could solve this problem, and Obi-Wan's been like, well, no, we can't do it that way, we have to do it the Jedi, so she wasn't.
Look what happened with the Barriss arc though. Like, when she framed Ahsoka because she attacked the Imperial person and whatever. And then they turned on Ahsoka, and then as a result, Ahsoka's like, "Screw you guys, I'm leaving because you guys don't know what you're doing."
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
She showcased, the problems that the Order and the Republic were doing.
Well, that was just poor writing. That's poor writing. Like,
and in this, she's like, "Wait."
Interesting. You're saying it was a self-fulfilling. What she pointed out is a bit self-fulfilling, because then the Jedi sort of fed into what she was trying to point out by doing what they did to Ahsoka and not believing in her and not backing her.
Showed them that, well, it's not even about like helping people anymore, it's about just like order and war.
But doesn't this arc help to show, Ryan's a little mad at it, but doesn't this help to show that she did have
good intentions?
Remorse? No, I don't know, good intentions. I think remorse to what her actions, where it led her, and what ultimately that she's now a part of this Inquisitor thing, but they've got her fighting her, not friends, but people she knows. That guy, right? Because she, when they get them all together, the one guy's like, "Oh, glad to see a familiar face." Somehow they're friendly, they know each other, and they're ultimately they're the two that are left, because the other guy tries to leave, right? Then the Grand Inquisitor say, you can leave if you want to, whatever, and he's teasing him. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm out of here." He's gone. He comes back with just his lightsaber or whatever, and then they put them in the donut ring with the what's the game everybody plays where the storm gets bigger, shorter, smaller. Fortnite, right? They put her in the donut room with Fortnite Cloud.
That's what we were saying. Like, she has to get in the circle.
Right. So she wins out of just survival. It wasn't that she was trying to be the bad that they wanted her to be. She just dispatched that kid, because if not him, it's her, or it's both of them. Is what I remember about that.
She wakes up and they tell her like, "Oh, the Jedi did try to take over. You were right." Her whole speech before in the Clone Wars is like, "Oh, well, we're being corrupted and we shouldn't be fighting this war." So she's like, "Yeah, they tried taking over, so they're evil. So we're gonna go liberate the galaxy." And then she finds out that, like, wait, we're doing the same thing. And that's why she turns like, I'm not.
No. It is not the same thing. The Empire enslaves races. They strip mine planets. They kill.
But she doesn't. From her point of view, she doesn't know that. From her point of view, they have her going out capturing babies or whatever, capturing Jedi to dispatch us.
Jedi don't do that. The Jedi, I hate that phrase. I'm sorry, but
it is spin, but like, but they weren't. They weren't supposed to be. Even Qui-Gon says we're not soldiers, we're peacekeepers, and they became soldiers. you know.
And that is true. He has a valid point, but it's like, and it's explained. I can't remember if it's a book or one of the episodes where the council votes on it, and one of them makes a very poignant statement where it's like, we as peacekeepers can't let the people die. So it's, yes, Palpatine put them in an unwinnable situation. That was the fall of the Jedi. But as a defender of Star Wars and stuff like that, I hate when people make Jedi out to be the villains. And I'm like, no. You're
not villains, just misguided and at fault a bit. Yeah.
Like, and not, I wouldn't even go as far as to say misguided. It's just they were tricked into.
They were duped. Yeah, they were played to.
They were duped.
To be played as soldiers, creating this war that ticked everybody off. Because look, the Jedi are and then it's easy to say, look, the Jedi are the one that are creating this war, and it's like, no, they weren't. They don't want to be doing it, but they're doing it to save people and save things. But yeah, you can spin it in a way that makes it look like it was their doing.
Morgan and Barris were both like lied to by the Empire, like, oh, we're gonna the Jedi took over and we're the good guys, but no one ever knew that Palpatine was playing both sides the whole time. Which was genius because no one ever figured it out, And
it's not just the Jedi that were duped. So I don't like the Jedi being like, well, they were duped. I'm like, no, the Separatists were tricked also. They're like,
yeah,
we just want better trade routes. Well, now you're an army that kills people. And they're like, whoa, well, we didn't want to go that far. Build the droids. And it's like, okay, like the galaxy was duped. Like everybody was tricked by the Sith. And it's just like, I'm always a huge defender of the Jedi. I'm Team Mace, man. Mace was right from beginning to end. Like, it's hard as he is.
The dark side clouds everything.
Well, he should have had Anakin trained. It would have been a lot better. I blame him for Anakin.
Oh, honestly, maybe we'll do that another one, but I think that's a worse idea. Like, I think Qui-Gon is a terrible choice. I think Mace is a terrible, because Mace dips into the dark side. So Anakin's problem isn't the dark side. It's he was too old to be trained, and he's too attached to his mother. Like that was it.
But had his mother a Jedi.
We'll go
Why
back.
didn't they go back and free her? Like that's always the thing.
They're not free. That's not their job. Is to liberate the galaxy. Type of thing. They can't go from planet to planet being like, we don't like your rules. It's like, no, they're there.
Basically what they did during Clone Wars.
Because they were forced into it. They had to join the army because they're like, listen, this war is going to happen with or without us. We're the best ones to defend the peace. We'll try to have talks before the war, and if it breaks out, we will defend them from the end. You want this going another hour, Ricky? I will make this go an hour.
So in the Barris Offee arc, what kind of goosebumps, chill bumps, and whatever? What kind of excitement did we have? Well, we kind of knew it was coming because I think it was teased.
I love that cave thing
in the preview or in the trailer or whatever. But when the doors open and we see the footsteps happen and we hear the musical cue and we get Vader, come on, that was just beyond cool to have him as a part of this. He had a very little part in it, clearly, because it's all about the Inquisitors and the Grand Inquisitor.
Ryan, how much of the Red Blade book did this remind you of? Because when I was watching, that's all I could think about.
Oh, the pit and everything, man. I'm
yeah.
Like, that's so cool. So I can't remember, because again, Red Blade kind of crossed my mind. Did she fight Vader at all, or did the episode just end? She did.
No, on this one, on the episode here.
Yeah, in the episode.
No, I don't think anybody fought Vader.
No, nobody fought Vader. I was waiting.
Existed. We saw him. We saw him, and he may have said something or was it whatever, but
he just knighted them or whatever. You're part of
yeah. Okay. I was just making sure I didn't, because Wikipedia doesn't always have cover everything. So I was like, did they fight? But it was Rise of the Red Blade.
I was waiting for him to chop somebody's arm off or something.
Yeah. So and I'm enjoying Inquisitors more and more. Like this. So the way Palpatine gets around it is he now has thousands of Force users that he turned against, and he's now twisting them to be against the Jedi, but he can't train them to be Sith because he still follows the rule of two. So he makes a Force-powered assassin group just to get more lightsabers on screen. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I kind of like that, man. I like Fifth Brother, Seventh Sister, like all these little characters.
Yeah.
Just like how I enjoy the Knights of Ren, and I wish they would have done more. I enjoy this other little assassin group that's just really good. And I love
Inquisitors goes back to like the audio drama, right? Wasn't that in the audio drama where they talked about like the Emperor had Inquisitors to hunt down Jedi? So it's old, so it's just an idea he fleshed out.
I
so
remember that.
yeah.
Okay, that'd be.
It's a clever way to get, like Ryan said, to get more lightsabers on screen, but not have the baggage, not have the weight, not have the albatross around the neck that would be the Jedi and the Sith and the that overarching story of these lightsaber. Well, what Jedi is he? How did he know about Yoda? No, they're fallen Jedi, whatever else is this elite assassin crew that uses lightsabers and has force capabilities and is going to conflict with each other. So it's a very clever storytelling piece that allows us to keep having lightsaber battles and lightsaber dudes, but not impact and not have to be so weighted down by the Jedi Sith construct that we have.
It was nice getting that Inquisitor from Kenobi fleshed out. Like that was nice.
Oh,
now we know what happens with her. The one that ended up in the main bad guy in this one.
Merrick?
Is that her name? Yeah. Well, she was the one in Kenobi. Remember, kind of in the background.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Mando, the ghost one, because Merrick.
Oh no, Merrick was the ghost.
The guy with the bird mask.
Was he there?
I don't think they did much.
Was that him? I didn't know if it was him or what, because he was a ghost. So I didn't.
Yeah, I just don't think he really talked. He had the same.
The one from the Ahsoka episode was in there, and then.
Yeah, Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman.
Cash money millionaire inquisitors over here. So.
I like these ones though. They were good. This was. I think I like the Barris one more than I like the Morgan one.
100% agree. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So and at the end she did turn, even though it's like, you only helped cause the downfall of the Empire. You could just go be a healer now and not, whatever. So, but her ending was good. And like you said, Ricky, you touched on it. I like the cave thing where they were, because I can't remember the link, but they said something at the beginning of the episode where it was like, you trust your feelings rather than your. So they did something like that. I don't recall it 100%, but it was something like, don't enter the cave if you're not ready to get out type of thing. And she.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, it was
she uses it against Lynn, her master, or
remember
the more seniority or whatever. She's like, don't go in there. Yeah, she kind of loses her mind, kind of thing, or otherwise gets caught up in it all. Yeah, what was it? That was kind of a powerful scene.
It might have been in the episode before that, her second episode, the realization one, where it's right before they kill the Jedi or something like that. She's like, well, you focus too much on, you got to focus more on your feelings. And then in this episode, it was like, well, you focus too much on your feelings and you got lost type of thing. She got angry. I can't remember the exact term. I regret not.
Yeah, she like flipped it on her.
Yeah, I really like that type of storytelling where it's like, well, yeah, use your anger. Well, you use your anger and you're gonna die.
Her anger got her lost and trapped.
Yeah, got her lost and trapped in there. Because she's the lady, right? The lady that took out the governor, or the leader of the village they visit or whatever, where they're looking for that Empire. He's like, I give you my word, there's nobody here. The little boy says, oh, he's up in the mountains. So she's like, wait, you gave me your word. So she dispatches that old guy. Shows how evil she really is, kind of thing, or whatever. And Barris kind of didn't take kindly to that. Unnecessary action, but it's the nature. We see it in Kenobi too. That the same scene is very similar, very, very poetic, very, very much a callback to what we see and how the Inquisitors intimidate and do what they do in getting the information they want. That they find out that Jedi's up in the mountains. Isn't Barris isn't she the body? Somebody goes back thinking.
No, it was Luminara. It was her master.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I was confused by that.
I knew it.
You know where I was going, but yeah, somebody's body was still alive. I don't even remember what it was.
Kanan sees it and he's like, "That's Master Luminara." Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it still makes me wonder why the fourth sister kind of like turned good at the end. It's like you went from killing a bunch of villagers to finding this remaining, aka Jedi healer. And then you kill her and you're like, you know what? Maybe I need to rethink my life. And I'm like, wait, that was that a character turn? It seemed like out of nowhere because fourth sister was straight up evil. She didn't have any.
Well, this was much later. She was older, so who knows what she was going through already.
Barris is the only one talking to her to try to convince her of the ways, wasn't it?
Is fourth sister the person that's leading Barris? The sort of
like her handler.
Master or Lynn, I think's her name.
Yeah, that's fourth sister.
The one with the fourth sister
hat, over her tendrils. So
the ones that are in the Barris episodes, right? That's the fourth sister that eventually turns. You're saying?
Yeah.
The one that she pushes off the cliff, and then she's like, "Hey, I'm alive!" in the next episode. So
I don't remember the ending of it very well.
Yeah, she had the leather hat, and she had the little tendrils, like the small lecus.
She took Barris's place as the healer for that village at the end, after letting her get out of the cave.
Yeah.
Like, but doesn't she kill Barris? Boy, I do not remember how. Right, okay. She regrets that or something.
Remember, she spins in a circle and she just stabs her by accident, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "What do you have to be sorry for? You came here to kill her. Like, why are you upset all of a sudden? You came here. She pushed you off a cliff. Like,
well, I think also
I'm sorry, I killed you."
That cave, I don't think that cave was any ordinary cave. I think that could be probably like kind of forced kind of.
Yeah, it was.
Cave. It was sort of manipulate her, and she's taken out her anger and all her dark side and stuff in that cave, so that when she accidentally kills Barris, she's got none of that dark force energy left, pretty much.
It's a purification cave.
Yes.
Only what you take with you, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the cave did a lot of the work, as much as Barris manipulated it.
And when you go on the other side, there's a Wendy's.
I should have
took a Frosty.
Steps.
So I think
overall great series. So
yeah, bring on more tales, right? Bring on
May the 4th.
Bring on more tales of anything and everything. Love that they sort of Didn't they surprise us with this when we got that trailer drop? We kind of knew they were working on more tales, or told us at Celebration we'd be getting more tales of something. It was season 2 was coming or something like that, but we did not have a timeline. We didn't know when. It surprised us. Some more of that Disney/Lucasfilm. I love the surprise drop of, hey, we got more content coming for you. So surprise. That is awesome.
Okay. Well, that's Tales of the Empire, and it's on to the last item on our agenda, which is May the 4th, or 4th of May. May the 4th be with you, all that kind of stuff.
And what did everyone end up doing?
1870, 16th respect, almost 2 weeks ago now. Good, dear me.
Well, I watched Tales of the Empire.
That's what I did, really.
And then I went to go see Phantom Menace, which was awesome. So.
Yes. I've actually just seen, I just had a look from YouTube. That's a remastered version of the trainer out.
That's good. I recommend going to see Phantom Menace 2 weeks ago.
So yes, you can talk about. I'm going to say about May the 4th, because I just watched Tales of the Empire, and I watched it all pretty much within an hour of it coming out. So it's up to you guys that are more excited to May the 4th than me.
Yeah, what did everybody do? Yeah, all I did was basically just go watch Phantom Menace and watch this. So
I mean, well, yeah, I don't mean like you went outside and mowed the lawn and then made some.
So yeah, I too took a bunch of local theater. We talked about this, I thought, but yeah, local theater did pick it up. Grabbed a bunch of tickets and took a bunch of family and friends and watched Phantom Menace in all its glory on the big screen. Absolutely had a blast doing that, because it was a younger set. A number of them have seen it but never saw it on the big screen, so they were kind of thrilled to have that experience and see it. It was a full house. We saw it proper on May the 4th at like a 6 o'clock showing, so it was a full hall, which is just always exciting to have that sort of ambience. There were people dressed up, lightsabers.
Yeah, I've got to check Ron, because the rumors on the internet is that when it came to them showing the Aconite thing at the end, everybody booed and walked out.
Absolutely not. That is
no, they did not.
If anything, they booed because it was at the end. We had to stay for the credits. I normally stay for the credits, but a movie I've seen 500 times. Okay, that one I could leave early. I don't feel any other major release or new movie or something. I stay through the credits just
and you got
because
to hear the Vader breath at the end.
But yeah,
did anybody else feel like the credits were super short? Like while you mentioned the credits,
I did too. I thought they went by pretty quick.
Out in my phone, but I'm like, wait a minute, that was like 3 minutes, man. Like, I know I'd lose attention there, but I'm like, that was really short credits before it got to the Acolyte. So
the one thing the Acolyte at the end had, while the Phantom Menace has aged well for 25 years, when it went to the Acolyte trailer, the sound design, the video, what we saw on screen was very crisp. There definitely was a 25-year or I don't want to say definitely. It wasn't old. It wasn't.
Well, it's HD versus
that
not
obvious. Yeah, right. That's I guess what it is. It's HD versus digitally from the get go versus remaster. Anyway, the Phantom Menace is held up. It's aged very well. It doesn't look dated. Doesn't look. But when you put the Acolytes right after it, there is a bit of a contrast there. Just like, oh wow, this Acolyte looks really crisp and really clear in the sound design and everything. But I was thrilled to see that Acolyte piece. There was no booing whatsoever in our theater. That is hyperbole. That is hype. That is made. I don't get it.
About people saying about a pro, I am leaving. I am not watching this.
Don't disgusted after watching. Don't. None of that was a thing whatsoever, and I don't buy into that at all. I don't understand the vitriol for it, and it's easy to be negative about stuff just because you get attention dollars.
I remember, like I didn't pay much. I wish I would have paid more attention during the movie. But was this the edition with the extra pod race laps, or was it not? Because I don't remember Anakin spinning around.
He spun in this, I can tell you for sure.
And then he used the little thing to like reattach the.
Yeah. I can't imagine they wouldn't show it. Yep.
Yeah, it's like I've seen this movie like 6 million times, so I didn't even think about it as I was watching it.
Phantom's one of the unique Star Wars movies because it's all sound design for the first 2 laps. It's beautiful pod racing sound design in its purest form because there's no musical cues. But in the last lap where it's getting intense and getting exciting, then the music kicks in to help add to what has already been building. That is the culmination of is he going to be able to do? We all know it. We've seen it 500 times, but that first time you don't know. So yeah. Definitely had all the laps because I remember when the music kicked in, I was just like, oh,
that's when he gets in trouble. Then the music goes, ta-da.
Yep. All that. Yeah. This is just the best. This is Star Wars at its best in terms of sound design, music, what's being on screen, everything that goes into all of that makes us go, wow, this is great. This is so fun to watch. So yeah. Got to see the movie with friends and family. That's always fun. I did end up hitting a Lego store and picking up the gift with purchases that were nice. Phantom Menace era based, troop carrier transport, some sort of coin, and some small little bagged item that was also it was all bad guy stuff, but still cool Phantom Menace era Lego things that were special. And then I need to throw something in the chat. So the other thing they were doing was Blue Milk. I think it was around the time. It was a little bit before.
I couldn't find any.
Yeah, there was none in my area either. I had to resort to friends and family that have scored me more stuff.
About expired milk.
I did see in my store a local. I don't know what it was. A local. I don't know how they claim. I don't know if they have the license to be doing it. It wasn't Blue Milk, but they did.
For the power of protein.
Star Wars is themed milk. Things, and the kicker, the pain in the butt part was each milk type was a different character.
Oh no!
So whole milk is I don't remember who. Right, I have to look at the picture. Whole milk is one's Chewie, one's Yoda, one's Leia.
There was a Yoda too. Oh, I see 3 in this picture.
I have a 4th one that I already emptied. So I need some help. Send some recipes that are milk laden, milk heavy, because I'm not going to drink 3 gallons of milk.
Run. As someone who's lactose intolerant, seeing these gallons of milk in this picture, I'm getting nauseous.
the absolute pain in the butt was they didn't do it for the half gallons. The half gallons had normal stickers, and it's beyond idiotic.
Do you have an ice cream maker, Ron?
Oh yeah, I could do ice cream.
You know how to make butter, make some.
I need to get on the Google.
No, you need heavy cream for that.
Mashed potatoes.
Get on the Googles and search how to, what recipes need a lot of milk.
You can throw some food dye in them and shake it up, and make.
Does anybody know? Because 1% is I don't do one. It's like white water, so why bother? Type of. But can you mix 1% and whole milk and get like a 2%? If I mix them half and half, will that work? Because that was the experiment I was going to do to see if I can cut down whole milk to make it.
There's some espresso in it and some. Chocolate.
Oh, my wife's gonna kill me when she sees it. Yeah, we have plenty of milk for. And I was trying to get ones that had an expiration of 5/25, but that just didn't exist.
You'd have to make a lot of mac and cheese or something.
I know, right? That's like 4.
Yep, just gonna.
4 gallons of milk.
just be one of them's already dispatched. So yeah, I have 3 gallons to go, and in the span of I think the closest expiration date was 5/24. So I've got some time before they don't expire right on that date. So yeah, that's what it is. It's gonna be lots of cereal over the next couple. They try to burn through the milk.
Lots of cereal. Maybe make a cake or two. Some macaroni and cheese. Maybe donate some to the local fire station. I don't know.
No, but not the bottle.
Yeah.
No, not the milk.
Can you take this milk in a 1 gallon Ziploc bag? Because I don't want that milk. I just want the jug.
Just need the jug.
No, I was talking about donating the mac and cheese to like the local fire station because you're making a big ass pan of mac and cheese.
But mac and cheese uses a quarter of a cup, like 1/4 of a cup of milk.
That's why you're no. You're making the stuff from scratch. You're making a big pan of it. It'll use a lot of milk.
I ain't got time for that.
I ain't got time for that.
It's craft for me, man.
You know, the other thing that I did, and Ryan did this too. I think Ron participated the Fortnite Star Wars stuff. That was the other thing I did.
I'm terrible at this. I need more time. I don't need any more time sucks in my life. I need more time. But I did buy a Fortnite card, V-Bucks or whatever it was, so that I had some money and went on Fortnite and bought whatever was on sale and haven't done it. So I have that in my Fortnite stash, cash, quiver, whatever it is. I bought some things that I have those that were available on the 4th because you guys told me they were available. I did participate in there was a Star Wars Unlimited thing that took place on May the 4th proper on the Saturday. It was a busy Saturday. I knew going in I would be cannon fodder and knew I was going to have to leave, and sure enough I was. But I did win one rounds of 3, and are they 3 games, and I won one of those. Whatever. I won one round at least. And it was a Ryan, help me out. It was a draft. So right, we each got 3 packs, and you picked out something, and you passed to the left, passed to the right, and all that sort of stuff. And I got no idea what I was doing. I definitely picked the shiny cards and the cool cards that I need for my collection, and then sort of also built. But I did the leader and the base thing or whatever. I built around Sabine, and was able and did well because all the other guys went bad guys, so they were fighting with each other in terms of knowing this deck had a card, but they weren't going to see it. But when my decks came around, I had plenty of Sabine related aspect thingies or whatever that matched her that worked well. That I was able to at least somewhat construct a deck. But yeah, I didn't know what to be looking for in terms of which cards interacted well. I ended up having too many events in my hand. Can't play the events, because there's nothing going on. But I had fun. The ultimate part of the whole thing is to enjoy it, is to have fun. And I had a blast playing with the select few that was at this small little shop that had fun with the Star Wars Unlimited on May the 4th.
How many showed up?
Oh, there was 8. 7. And the one store guy joined in to become the 8th so that everybody could play against everybody, kind of thing, which worked out well because then when I had to leave, I was playing against him. I'm like, all right, well, I can see it. I got to get. He knew I had this movie time frame. So, and that was just random. He plugs our names into whatever system the stores use to keep it all randomized and keep it all straight or whatever. But I'm in the book somewhere. He told me, I think if I understood what was going on, somewhere I'm in the books or it's on record that I participated at one of these events and won a round or won a game or whatever. So I'm at least
around. Yeah.
I'm at least on the board.
One round.
You were put in the Jedi archives.
Who'd you beat? What leader did you beat?
I got no idea. I don't know what he played. I don't remember what he was playing.
So, okay, since you talked on that, I'll go to mine. Mine might be a bit because, I did a bunch, man, on that Saturday and Sunday. So I'll do Star Wars Unlimited first, and then I'll touch on Ep1. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to bring any kids with me because all the other parents had them taken away. So I ended up dragging my wife along, and she's like, I'm just going to kick my feet up. So, but anyway, Star Wars Unlimited. So that Saturday, May the 4th, it's one of the few times I get to play at the Feisty Goblin, which is about an hour and 20 minutes from me. I go there, and 34 people signed up, including myself, to play in a pre-built tournament. And I got to say, man, it was... Maybe Ricky understands because I don't know how many tournaments he's played in, but it was like the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life. Just because I'm new at card games, I don't really play that much. I played a super cheap deck because while I have 700 of these Star Wars cards now, I barely have any, legendaries. I only have 2 Vaders. I have 1 Boba Fett. So all these big decks that focused on cards that cost $100, and people are like, yeah, I got 6 of those. I played a super cheap Leia aggro, so red Leia. It's called Christmas Leia because she's green, and then my base is red. So, and I tell you, nobody expected Leia to do good in this tournament. And man, it was so I swept like the first. I would go check my notes to my wife, but it was 2 weeks ago, and we text hundreds of times a day. But it was like I think I went 4-1 where I lost, but my round record I think was 10-5 or something like that. And you're talking about some crazy close rounds. I was there for 5 hours. I was there at 2, and I didn't leave after 7:00 because each match is 55 minutes, so you have to play up to 3 rounds. But man, nobody expected Leia to do so good. And the one who ended up winning the whole championship overall, was another Leia red deck. And he's the second guy I faced. So I swept this first person. It was Tarkin. Yeah, I played Tarkin, was the first time, swept him. And he's like, my God, what happened? I'm like, I got 20 minutes left. I go out to my wife. I'm excited. I come back for the next round. And I meet this guy. And I tried to, while I'm relatively introvert in the jobs that I've had, I've learned how to approach people. I've had classes on how to talk to people as a supervisor, so I know how to pull information out of people. I know how to manipulate people. It's pretty much the base of it. So, but anyway, I try to have fun and outgoing and weird type of thing. And the second guy I play, he beats me, but I beat him. So he beat me, then I beat him, and then he beat me again. I'm like, okay, that was. And it couldn't have been closer, man, because I'm telling you what, they actually moved us to the camera room, and we were both playing Leia, we're both playing red base, and I think the people, because they have one room with cameras where they record and they live stream. Everyone else just plays the room. Well, that match finished early, and they're like, well, we have like 15 minutes left. How much time? I was like, well, we're 1-1. We're going to play a right match. He's like, please go to the camera room so it's not just 15 minutes of dead air. And my wife was not in the room. She was outside. And she says there was a crowd of people watching our match because it was just so intense. Like we were tricking each other back and forth, like the attacks and combos that we were using, where it's like he'd make me discard a card and my card would have broke his shield and that would have ended the match. So people were like, oh my God, I can't believe he played that. And he played like a surprise card, like a last grasp where he had to lay down a card. It's called like Heroic Sacrifice. I don't know. It was for a cause I believe in. And you had to draw 4 cards from your deck. And only if those cards had certain symbols would he be able to beat me. Like I was up by a lot. I only had to do like 1 damage to his base. And he had to do 4 to mine. And he played this card. And he had to flip cards from his deck to like do 1 damage. And if he didn't pull all hero cards, like with a certain hero symbol, he wouldn't have won. So there's all these people, like people are telling me once we finished the match, they're like, dude, that was incredible. So it was like this super exciting match where it's like he flip a card, do 1 damage, flip a card, it didn't do damage, flip a card, do 1 damage. And he had to flip the 4th card. And it was a card that it needed to do damage. And I was like, if I had to lose, that was the most exciting way I've ever lost in my life.
So did he do it in dramatic fashion, so to speak, that he had fun, that you guys had, you didn't just flip the cards to see what happened, that you knew you were close to that end game and sort of produced an exciting sort of bit of, all right, 1 card, oh, damage, oh, this one doesn't, it was flipped that way. That's very, very cool.
Like the biggest thing was he played a K2SO card, which when K2SO dies, he either does 3 damage to their base or makes them discard a card. And playing an aggressive Leia deck, you usually deal the damage to the base, but he noticed I had 1 card left in my hand, and he's like, let's see, you have a 3 out of 50 chance of having a Saboteur, which is a shield breaker, in your hand right now. But he's like, I'm not going to take the risk of doing damage, so he's like, I'm going to make you discard that card. And like, I knew I was playing for the camera, and I like slowly laid it down in front of the camera because I was going to use that to break a shield, because he had me he had a Sentinel in space, so I couldn't do any damage in space, and I was going to use this 1 card to break his Sentinel Like, and again, only people who play understand what I'm using, but I'm like, oh man, it was nuts. So it was the most exciting loss I've had in my life. Well, then the next matches were almost elimination matches to get into the top 8. And it was the ones that I feared the most. It was Vader and Boba. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that I've trained against the best Boba decks that I could find on Star Wars Database, and I moved them into Force Table. And I'm telling you, I played 30 matches against Boba and Vader, one right after the other with my Leia deck. Like, what's the best way to battle? Like, these are decks designed by people online who win $5,000 tournaments, and I'm practicing them against my cheap $40 deck, and I have a pretty good win rate. But dude, I straight made some people mad because they had it wasn't Vader, it was the Grand Inquisitor. So I beat Grand Inquisitor, and that was trading blows. Like, he beat me, I beat him, and then I beat him again, and it was a massive upset. Like, this dude had an amazing deck of Grand Inquisitor green, and he was destroying me, and I just had like 1 or 2 upsets where I'm like, I'm gonna flip this card, it comes ready, and I do 6 damage to your base. And that dude was like, he just had a loose handshake at the end type of thing. Like, he was upset. Like, I straight up knocked these professionals out. And then the other guy, he played Vader. No, he played Boba, which is the one I was the most scared of, because Boba's the biggest threat in the game right now. I freaking swept him 2-0 in 15 minutes. And that dude was legitimately like upset. He came and apologized to me afterwards. He's like, hey man, I'm sorry that I reacted so upset type of thing. But I literally ran outside that building to my wife and was like pumping my fists, like sweating, because it was just so intense, man. It was just like it was upset after upset against the strongest decks designed in the game. Like, I'm killing these Vaders. They just could not handle it. And I was so excited. So it was one of the greatest moments that I've had in a community setting. And the guy that I lost to in the second round, every time I would have there was 3 other matches before I got to the finals. I would run back to him and find him because he was undefeated. So everyone kept paying attention to this Leia deck. Oh, this Leia deck's so strong. I would go back to him. I was like, did you lose yet? And he's like, no. And I was like, man, you suck. I hope someone eats your lunch. And he's like, did you lose? I'm like, nope, went undefeated. He's like, because we seen that we were heading towards the championships. But unfortunately, when I got to the top 8 and I got to stay a little bit longer, I was playing a Sabine deck, which is another high profile, deck where it's super aggressive. You just throw cards out like crazy to attack. And I beat him the first round. He beat me the second round. And my third round, I probably should have mulliganed because I did not have any good combos in my hand. And he beat me, and I was eliminated right there. So I placed overall, after the end of the rankings, I ranked 5th out of 34th. But like, I had super high ranking. Like, even though I didn't have as many wins, I beat harder decks than other people type of thing. And the guy who ended up winning it all, the Leia, the only people that beat him in one round was the Sabine deck that I lost to and me. And so it was like, hey, at least I beat that guy once, where he went 2-0 against everybody else except for me and that one dude. So I was just like, I was so happy. I think I made, some people were like bumping fists with me afterwards, like, hey man, if you need any more cards, hit me up. It was such a community thing for Star Wars. Like, and I did really well. I just loved it, man. It was amazing.
Ryan, you can watch your game online on YouTube. I found it on here.
Did you?
Really?
Yeah.
Send that link in the chat. Ryan, the guy you were talking to, his was a Leia deck that you kept going back to or whatever and say, I hope I eat your lunch, or you eat your lunch or whatever. His was a Leia deck as well?
Yeah, that dude went undefeated against everybody. And he had a couple more events than me, where I'm not really an event guy. And honestly, I didn't have the cards I needed. So after this, I actually purchased some cards online for like $5 to get like 6 cards just to get more of my combos in order. And I'm going to play with a Leia deck again because they're having another event, a store championship event on June 1st, my birthday. So I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing for my birthday. So I'm doing it again. And I don't know who's going to be there. I'm sure there's going to be maybe more people because on May the 4th, people were going to see the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, sure.
On June 1st, it's a championship. It's literally a store championship, and they get specialty Mace Windu cards that say where you ranked and stuff like that. So they got legitimate prizes in the store championship. So I'm hoping I do just as good then.
You came in 5th or whatever. What was the entry fee to get in? And because of it being draft, you didn't get anything for that, or no, because of it being constructed, you didn't get any packs. Whereas mine ended up just costing us $5 extra, but we got the packs that we got. What did it cost to get in, and then what were the prizes?
So it was $30. It was $30 to get in. It was constructed, so it's not like I get any packs. So you only get what you win. And I think every round you play, win, lose, or draw, they gave you one of the. It was either a pack or a black booster pack. You remember the specialty cards?
Okay, so you got something each round.
Yeah, and then every win, he gave you a normal pack. So, I think it's if you played, you got a booster pack, and if you won, you got a black pack. So, like at the end of the night, he gave me I think 6 packs and 5 black booster packs type of thing.
All right.
So I ended up way in the positive. I didn't really pull that many good cards except for the black booster packs. Had some decent stuff, but oh man, I was there for 5 hours. I just thank my wife for dealing with me, for sitting in the vehicle for most of it. Because it was just sweating, just excitement, like these upsets that you wouldn't believe type of thing.
Well, right, that's the beauty I'm the total noob, so when I go in, that's the beauty. You can have the bought deck or whatever, but you also have to shuffle them and draw in an order that helps you win against whatever you're playing, whoever you're playing. So while I have my weak ass Sabine deck that I have no idea what I'm doing. I haven't gone online at all to see which cards I should be putting. I'm just matching up aspects and trying to make 30, 35, 40 card deck because that's what you should have, and just having fun with it. I played somebody that was a Boba Fett deck that was whatever that he didn't have much at the beginning, but then once we got into round 6, 7, he was just I was finished. But I took we went 30 to 27, and I was wicked happy with myself that I put 27 on his base, that I made him sweat a little bit. I stood no chance in the last round because even if you didn't have to play anything, you could just the people that were on the board when it was his turn, he could do whatever, and till we back and forth, I wasn't going to get there because I didn't have enough on the board at the time, but. That I took his fancy ass, like you said, the expensive deck, and it was just me being a total noob to 27. Come on, you had fun with it. If you go into it, wanting to win, having to win, and being mad because I could see how some of those guys, paid money for decks or went online to find the super great deck and what cards do what and all that sort of. I haven't done any of that yet. I've just been having fun as a total noob, playing with the cards that I picked out of my hand. I'm not buying cards. I'm having fun collecting. Anyway, absolutely. I love hearing you talk about it, Ryan, because just the sheer excitement for it. That's what got me into it. That and the collectibility of the cards and the cool cards that are in it. That Star Wars Unlimited. It's a shame we have to talk about it because I don't want to. There's no reason to hype and promote it up because the content you can't. There's nothing to buy out there. There's another round's coming in June or something, right? But yeah, it's,
12th or 15th.
Yeah, soon there'll be some content or there'll be some product to purchase or whatever. But
out there though, like that Feisty Goblin, it's the one in any area around me that has cards, but they do it the right way by hoarding all the cards and not selling any except for the people that come in and play. And I'm like, that's fantastic.
So they have cards for if you show up to play. Yeah, you can buy a pack or 2 when you're there. Perfect.
And he has he opened the drawer and he showed me he had 3 boxes of those black packs, and people sell those online for $500. And he's like, no, I'm keeping it to have players come into my store and I'm giving it as rewards. So I'm like, dude, you're
keep that up.
This is a store run by a gamer, and I love it rather than a store run like the store that's in my area that's run by. Yeah. So that I literally ran out of the store 2 or 3 because I would finish matches at 30-minute marks before the hour's up, and I'd just go out and was sweating and shaking, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I won that. It's just one of those where
nice.
You
That's
just
awesome.
had to pull the perfect card.
Yeah, right.
This dude just with me.
So would you, although you said you're not much of a gamer, but from my experience with the guys that are gamers that where I play that have played the other thing, they're liking the gameplay. They're getting a little mad. I hear them talk and they just go on. I'm just like, oh my god, you guys are really into this. With regards to there's a Boba Fett deck or two that the bad guys tend to there's till you know, even if you try to play there's not a lot of equivalency. That there's a couple of decks that can be made that just there's not a lot you can do to counter them, no matter what type of thing or whatever. That they're worried that they're gonna, disqualify these cards out of events and stuff because the gameplay for such is got, people have realized, well, if you put this, that, and the other thing together or whatever, it's practically unbeatable. It's like, well, you still have to draw the cards you need to draw, but right. I get the game players understand that gameplay.
Brian, the third link I just put right now, it's it because I recognize your counter.
yeah, that's it. It has my counters. I'll have to watch it again because I had a hard time
it's right
finding
at the beginning. Yeah.
So, but if you want, and again, I know you play more draft, Ron, but if there is any constructed events, do you know how many cards that you have by chance? Rough estimate, packs?
I've probably opened 2 boxes worth, maybe.
Oh, shoot. So okay. So here's the reason I chose Leia's not winning a lot of championships. She's not getting a lot of name recognition, but she places high every time for cheap cards. Like you can get my deck, even after I just upgraded it, my deck is only worth $43 after upgrading it. So I'm telling you, if you want to place high, but not spend a lot of money, you may not win anything with like the guy who won mine was Leia, but he had a really good one. It's just a great deck. And he got lucky beating me and Sabine. I'll be honest. It was luck. That dude literally came down 1 health away from losing and probably taking the rest of it. So, but if you want an easy deck, I'm telling you, go with a red Leia and search all your green cards and all your red cards for just something that says Rebel. Look for the trait that says Rebel. Her ability is to attack twice with Rebels. And you just flood the board with Rebels, like Benthic 2 Tubes, like Partisan Attacker, Steadfast Battalion, like there's a shielded green card, like K2SO. Those are anything that says Rebel on it, get it. So it's a strong deck that will at least get you far into the game. So I would recommend that if you want to build a constructed deck.
Yeah, all right, I'll take that under advisement.
Okay, Ryan, what else did you do?
So
can we cut him off because I haven't talked yet?
I know.
I knew we were going to go over. We saved it for the end. Like,
I'm sitting here like, okay, well, compared to my weekend, mine was very brief. It was basically that was the day we were supposed to have the garage sale. It didn't happen because it got rained out. Thanks to storms.
What?
And
ridiculous. It rained?
Yeah. It rained, so the garage sale got rained out. It was raining pretty hard too. The garage sale got rained out, so I didn't get to do that. But we did go to see Attack of the Clones, my mom and me, and we went to lunch, and it was a nice time.
Attack of the Clones or Phantom?
Phantom, sorry.
Okay. I mean, one of my other theaters was playing the original trilogy Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, one showing each. But
Phantom Menace. I tried to erase that name from memory sometimes just because Jar Jar. I'm Jar Jar and I do not have a good relationship. But my mom actually loves Jar Jar Binks. Okay, sorry. My mom actually loves Jar Jar Binks. It's the funniest thing. So when I said, let's go see The Phantom Menace, she's like, oh yeah, I'm all about that because I love Jar Jar.
Yes, your mom's awesome.
So well, at that point I was like 24, so I was like too old for kiddie things. Now I don't really care one way or the other, but that was 25 years ago, so there we are.
I was 29. I had zero problem with Jar Jar. Zero problem with Jar Jar in terms of, but maybe the 24, it's a different mindset.
Yeah, it was the early 20s. It was my early 20s, so I was trying to be an adult and trying too hard. So I didn't like Jar Jar. I just kind of fell into that camp. He's never really been a favorite character, but I found him more tolerable.
That's making me so sad.
I'm with you, Marie. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you.
Yeah. See, Ryan understands. So he's never been my favorite character, but I kind of see like the purpose of him being in the movies now, whereas before it was kind of like, oh, why is he there? But my mom and I had a nice time. We we sat through the credits because she was like, "Can we go now?" Because
No.
she knows I like to sit through the credits. And I was like, "No, there's something at the end of the credits." She was like, "Oh God, of course there is." And she saw the thing for the Acolyte, and I kind of like sitting there with people who are non-Star Wars fans watching these things because they're kind of like, I have no idea what's going on, but she still kind of enjoyed that. She's like, "That looks good." It's like, okay. So so that was a fun time. Then we went and we had lunch, and that was kind of the end of it. I heard too late that there was a comic store that was closing probably within the next week or so, and I think that was Free Comic Book Day as well, and they were doing some things for May the 4th, but I heard about it like a couple days later, actually, that they were doing stuff because I ran across an article or something, or like an announcement online that they were closing, and they were it was like, no, it was a Facebook post that said that from like 2 or 3 days before that said, we're doing like special stuff for May the 4th, and we're trying to get rid of inventory. So like, come on by, because we've got a lot of good stuff on sale. We've got stuff for Free Comic Book Day. And I was like, well, great. Too late now.
I missed mine, unfortunately. I just couldn't make it with trying to travel to Pittsburgh.
Well, even if you miss Free Comic Book Day, they still, if they didn't give it all away, they still have it, and it's still available. You know, the next, potentially the next days or whatever. I did hit a comic book store and picked up a couple copies of the 2 Star Wars comics that they had available. Forgot about that.
I had forgotten about it.
There you go. So I know, we went to see, as far as us going to see Phantom Menace, like I said, I'm with you, Marie, where Phantom Menace and Jar Jar rank pretty low on my list among Star Wars movies. It's still a Star Wars movie, so it's still better than most.
I muted Ryan.
All right.
Hey,
Let him talk. Let the man talk. Come on.
Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, I can't unmute him, but I can remove him from the call.
Yeah, not having that. Not having
No,
that.
I hope he doesn't know that he's not talking.
Well, how do you unmute him? He does, because we're talking
unmute
to him. He has
Ryan,
to
come
unmute
on.
himself.
Unmute yourself.
Oh, there
That's
we
not
go.
our chancellor. I ruled that the great senator from the state of wherever Arizona is reprimanded appropriately for such Jar Jar like actions.
Am I back? I don't know.
Yes,
You're back. You're back.
Okay. No idea.
Yeah.
But there were some butts in there. I put a butt in there. So like I said, I have always said my life is a blank between those years, 99 and 05, because I have no recollection of Star Wars existing. So I never saw them in theaters. So when you watch things at home, you kind of haphazardly watch them. But man, when this music kicked in, it swelled feelings inside of me immediately. And I'm just like, I miss Star Wars so much in theaters. And I got to say, I loved it in theaters. It was a totally different experience. Jar Jar was still annoying. Don't get me wrong, Jar Jar. But the pod race was amazing. The sounds, the battles, like it was just so much more in theaters than just sitting at home, half scrolling on my phone. I'm going to go up and get snacks and stuff like that. I'll watch it in the background. And you just have to sit there and watch. And I'm just like, I freaking love Star Wars, man. Like, movie that I don't even, like I said, it's almost, I'm like, oh, I don't like watching that. But I'm just like, that pod race, I've never really enjoyed the pod race scene, but I loved it in theater. I loved it, man. It was just the sound, it's like do 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 do, like all around you. It's just different. And now it's
the same thing. I was like, I constantly have Star Wars movies on, but like even Lena said after the movie, my daughter, she's like, I think this is the first time we actually watched the whole movie without pausing it or getting up or something.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I noticed so many things. So I just got a quick couple notes like that I noticed that I was trying to take in the theater, that like Qui-Gon Jinn was using the Force to manipulate Boss Nass when he was talking to him. When he's like, oh yeah, you'll send me through. I'd never noticed that. Like I'm just, it's so subtle. Because when
you pick him up doing it with the chance cubes?
No.
Well, because the difference is that it zooms in on his hand, so it shows.
But you have to see that. Yeah. Okay.
It's zoomed out. There's 4 characters on the screen, and he just kind of barely moves. I love that.
Yeah, he's
that kind of thing where it's not. And even in New Hope, it's so obvious when he waves his arm in a big arc. But this is just like he just kind of waves it at his waist, and I'm like, dude, I've never noticed that before. So
even when he's doing it to Watto, they kind of emphasize that he's doing it to Watto. You know?
Yeah, it's a big hand movement right in front of the camera. But when he does it to Boss Nass, it's zoomed out. He's talking to multiple characters, and he just kind of just barely perceivable. And I'm like, whoa,
from a pretty far distance too.
Yeah, it was like that wasn't center screen, big obvious eye catch. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I'd never really noticed that. The other thing is Obi-Wan Kenobi is a total a-hole. Like he is a jerk beyond belief, because he straight up says, and I busted out laughing at minimum 2 times in this thing, because Obi-Wan straight up says, another imbecile life form.
No, another pathetic life form.
Another pathetic life form.
Towards Anakin and Jar Jar. And I
think we've picked up another, pathetic life form.
Yeah, it was pathetic. I was trying to make notes at the end of the movie, like rapidly typing notes, but I just busted out. He's like, another pathetic life form.
Well, he sees Jar Jar and he's like, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this?
What's this now?
The other pathetic life form was like Anakin. You know, he's talking like a human. Like Anakin, he's like, he's walking back to the ship is when he says it, and he's got this boy with him, and he's like, another pathetic life form. And I'm like, that's a human child, dude. Like, what is your deal? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I busted up laughing.
It's a fascinating thing to deconstruct, because he is an teenage, arrogant, you know, he's got all this force power and everything that Anakin was, if you will, so to speak. At that point, he hasn't learned hubris of having that power, that he would very much kind of be saying, oh geez, why did we pick up this pathetic life? You know, just this kind of
snooty that was just freed, dude. Like,
that his master has to teach him that no, there's the value in all life forms, and you know, everything that goes.
Yeah, he's a guy in his early 20s trying hard to adult. And not knowing what it's about, you know,
not getting the big picture, right? It tracks.
It tracks. I mean, I was around the same age at that point, so yeah, it tracks.
Yeah, she was said.
So Ryan speaks volumes to my long held belief philosophy and firmly believing that there's something to the theater experience, especially for your first time. You know, if you can get somebody into seeing Star Wars for the first time in that manner. Now, granted, we all have big screen TVs and good home theater. You know, you good sound, but there's nothing like a theater experience with that big screen, that real sound system, all those other people watching it to it.
No distractions.
Yeah, and right, exactly. The lack of distraction aspect to it all. That
I did
really
have the dude in front of me trying to record the crawl. That was
get involved with the.
I almost had to yell at somebody to shut the phone off. I'm the first to do that, but yeah, it's that, and it's. I'm glad I can help prove that, because it's a movie that I've seen dozens and dozens of times, and then it's like, so I'm a perfect thing where it's just like, oh, I've seen this movie dozens of times. I'm just gonna go watch it in a theater just because of Star Wars and I want to throw money at it, and I'm just like, this is incredible. So it's a movie that I've seen so many times, can still show so much just by turning my phone off and being in the dark with a giant screen.
Gross with that story.
This is what the third time it's been in theaters, because they had the original run and the 3D, and then now. I don't know if my shirt I wore to the original showing will survive another showing for 10 years.
That
thing
just
is
like
old.
Some of the other things, it was like, the way, if some girl talked to my 9-year-old like Padme talked to Anakin, there would be a lot of problems, man, because I was like, this is 100% inappropriate in like every way. If she's like 14 and he's 9 or whatever it is, I'm like, this is awkward.
What'd she say that you're going on about?
Just the way that she like talked to him like as like a 9-year-old, and I'm just like, that's really creepy, man. I don't remember the exact lines, but just a couple times.
He's like, come to my bedroom. It's in my robot.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
weird. And he grabs her hand and takes her.
Yeah. So just the other thing that I thought was weird is that the vote of no confidence for Chancellor Byron.
General Zod.
They need one person to do that. Like, am I missing something here? Did one person bring up vote of no confidence and he stepped down? Like, you have 100 planets there, and one planet's like vote of no confidence. It's like, I'm not going to bring up our current United States problems with government, but when one person removed the Speaker of the House, it was like shambles.
We're in agreement with it because Palpatine had planted the seeds.
Yeah, but it just took like one person. It's like, and he sat down. He's like, "Oh, I'm done." I'm like, "Well,
he just needed somebody to be the Jar Jar and speak up."
Well, I don't think he sat down going, "Oh, well, I'm done." He was just like, he sat down going, "Oh, geez, the vote's going to take place." That somebody's calling for a vote of no confidence, and probably historically, or when if somebody calls for a vote of no confidence, it doesn't go in the in that favorable way because stuff's going on and people are going to vote him out. He's just kind of realizing what's about to happen. But George didn't have time to be going into all that.
He just had with baseless allegations in the Senate.
Yeah. It just.
I mean, it was just kind of weird. It was like, oh, he's just done. But at least Chancellor Valoran, he went off to have a successful music career, right? Like he's a singer.
What?
Isn't that Sting?
What?
That's General Zod.
No, that's General Zod.
I thought that was Sting. I was like, isn't that Sting?
No, that's Terrence Stamp.
Yeah.
I don't know names, whatever.
That was not.
Who's General Zod? That's Superman.
That's not
in the original Superman movie.
No way, that's
Sting is in the original Superman.
No, it's not Sting.
Oh, okay.
It's not Sting. He's not in the original Superman.
It's actor Terrence Stamp.
Okay, yeah, that's Neil before Zod. Okay, I thought you were talking about New Zod.
No, not
it's
the
Terrence Stamp. He was Bernadette in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Is somebody in the original Superman in Star Wars?
Yes.
Yes,
it's
Terrence Stamp.
He was the original General Zod.
Who's General Zod? One of the guys
the
in the mirror?
guy that they had in the Phantom Zone.
Before Zod, the biggest early Superman movie, the Superman 2 is like the biggest of the Superman movies.
And I've not seen that one 500 times. I saw it once back in the 80s and then again on HBO. So I kind of have know. So I don't think I knew that Chancellor Valorum is in the original Superman, and he's one of the guys in the mirror, and he's the leader of the guys in the mirror, the three people in the mirror. That's General Zod. No idea. I
honestly thought
I would have
lost
that bet.
Entire life. I thought that was Sting my entire life.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say I have no idea where Sting comes.
Trust me.
I don't Google.
Where's the Chancellor? This Senate session has devolved into absolute mayhem. What's going on?
All right,
vote now.
Yeah, vote of no confidence. No, I absolutely learn something new every other day. I
checked his IMDb, and he has six sound credits. So he is a musician. So
is he? Okay.
But I mean, it's stuff I've never heard of. Like
a performer. Count Dooku.
Is that what made you think it was Sting, or why do you have Chancellor Valorum having a music career?
Them generic old white guys all look the same to me. I don't know.
You heard that somewhere or something.
Generic old British guys.
Yeah, they all look the same. So, but anyway, like overall, the movie was incredible. Like I said, when that music slammed, where it's like doo-doo, like right at the beginning, immediately I was just like, I miss Star Wars so much. So it's just overall, I'm a perfect example where I can go to watch a movie at home countless times, kind of just be like, that's mediocre. And I can go home and be like, this was amazing. It still ranks low on my list. I mean, there's just so many other better ones, like Attack of the Clones and all that stuff. There's better ones, but still, to have one ranked low on the list, but still be in love with it, to like, hey, make me laugh out loud, to make me just feel the sound and just like, this is incredible, man.
That's why I just get why when it came out, people were like negative about it. I'm like, that was a great movie. It was exciting and lots of stuff happening.
I saw numbers. I don't follow it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But it I don't know if it did well, but it made it grossed money.
It was number 2 behind the.
It made money for a movie that's 25 years old,
right?
That millions of people have already seen.
Disney, get off your, you could do that often. Don't be so, driving to Disney Plus. I'd love to know the stats of how many people went to the thing, have Disney Plus, have the ability to watch it at home, but still went to the theater to see it because it's a theatrical event. It's a movie born of the theater and should be seen in the theater. And thank you for for allowing it to be seen in the theater.
And actually watched it on Disney Plus after watching it in the theater again.
I just hope I don't have to wait I just hope I don't have to wait 4 years to see Attack of the Clones. Like I wish they would have dropped them all. I would have went to all of them.
That was in.
I would have gone. Yeah.
Well, they did have them all, but all in a row on the same day, which is ridiculous.
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars summer. Right. If there's no movies coming out in a year, re-release some of the Star Wars movies in the theater over the summer. Make
the Harkins theaters here. We're doing the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies one every week. So they did Spider-Man 1, they did Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3. I'm like, that would have been pretty awesome to go to, but I just didn't have the time to go. But I wish that would be cool, just like every month or something, have a new Star Wars movie come out and you can just go watch it, and have it run for a few weeks.
Have a new old Star Wars movie, you're saying?
Yeah, a new old one.
Yeah, okay. That would.
But they should just constantly have a Star Wars movie in the theater every day.
Yeah, and then you're talking. There's almost no Marvel and no Star Wars movies this year. There's one Marvel. You call it Marvel. And it's like, just do like every 2 months release, man. If you could just do all 3 of those. I tried so hard to get my kids to go because like while they're 16 and like 11 and 18, it's like at least get the 16 and 11-year-old to go because I feel like it's hard for them, it's just different in the theater, man. It's made for their age, like especially the 11-year-old. It's like I tried so hard to get him to go, and I could not because he was at other parents. It was even like I'm going to pull them out of school Friday, go and then take them. Like I tried everything, and it just could not work. And I was so bummed. They couldn't show it for 2 weeks, dude. You couldn't give me 2 weeks. I'm just like,
well, my daughter's 12, and she enjoyed the heck out of it going and eating her popcorn and stuff, and yeah, it was fun. It was a fun
I
day.
don't have a 12-year-old, but I do have 17-year-old twins somewhere that I could take with me, but that was like prom weekend, so I couldn't do it.
It's like that's the one thing I'd say about. I'm happy they release it, but give it 2-3 weeks or something, man. You're releasing it from. You only do one weekend, Thursday to Thursday. Like what the heck, dude? Like I tried so hard. Because the problem is I had to drive
Saturday. Saturday should have been the last day, or at least
I had to drive 40 minutes. That was if it was in my local theater, I would have been able to do it. But I have a crappy local theater. Dude's just like, oh, we can't get it because they require you to show it on 3 screens before they sell it to you, and we only have 4 screens. So they're like, we're not showing it. So I had to drive. I would have had to steal the kids, drive 40 minutes, and get them back to their parents before they leave for vacation, and it was impossible. And I'm so bummed. I wanted them to experience it more than myself. I wanted to take my children for this experience, and I couldn't because you couldn't do a 2-week release schedule. It's like, come on, man, give me 2 weekends. Crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right, now that Ricky's done ranting, I suppose we should probably wrap this up.
Anybody else do anything else?
No, you just dragged this on forever, Ricky. I think we'll wrap it. You just on and on.
Let me talk about my unlimited deck.
Dude, Star Wars is exciting, man. And
dude, there's
it
like
was
so much.
People.
You can still play Fortnite right now and get Chewbacca and fight Vader and get the lightsaber and stuff still right now. So
yeah, I'm level 200. I have to take some. I got level 200. I have to take a break, man. Like I'm
89.
I can't do that again. I'd wake up early, stay up late. I was addicted. It was nuts.
All right. So yeah, I'm glad everybody had fun for May the 4th, and hopefully Steven had to duck out. So.
Yeah, as an last thing, I know we won't touch on it, but just as a reminder, Acolyte comes out and June 4th. So you're talking 2 weeks. Yeah, Acolyte.
Yeah, 2
2 episode premiere comes out on June 4th. So hype for that. I saw something in a trailer that I didn't want to see. It raised my hype, but I didn't want to see it because you know me, I watch 1 or 2 trailers and then I don't watch anything else. And I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. I'm so excited. So
there was another trailer? Because I think I watched both of them.
Yeah, it has something with Vern in it. Has Vern's lightsaber in it. And I'm like, that was so cool, dude. I avoided it. And everyone's talking about it. So images are just popping up. And I'm like, might as well freaking watch the trailer then. Yeah, dude. Showed 1 second whip. And I'm like, yes. So I did not expect to see it.
Was that on the Disney site or on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, I went straight to Star Wars to find it.
Okay, I want to look for that.
Jim Varney's in the Acolyte?
What?
Vern.
Thank you. All right, I didn't know if that was going to play or not. I appreciate it.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you very
good night,
much.
everybody. Yeah, good talk.
Tip your waiters. So there's a character in the Acolyte named Vern?
Vernestra Rowe.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't like being called Vern.
You're shortening it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They call her Vernon, it annoys her. So
we'll be recording, I think, before the first one airs. So we'll see how it goes from there.
You have no idea how much I appreciate that was
Right, dude. I grew up on that.
Received or understood, so to speak.
Is that an Ernest reference?
Yeah, you know what I mean, Vern?
Not me, Vern. Nobody gets it anymore.
No, it's a lost.
Yeah.
So the love of Star Wars is still strong. They're selling cards, they're making movies, toys are selling. Action figures don't make money. That's just the generation we're in. But hey, us older folks are here buying
money.
Oh my God, didn't it? Dude, that had to make freaking $1 billion.
I bought the Lego thing just so I get Chewbacca skin. So
you buy everything, Ricky. You throw money. So,
I do.
But Star Wars is live and strong, and I'm happy it's just kicking strong, man. It's just give me some movies, please. Give me some movies, because it was an incredible experience.
All right, so I guess it's goodbye from Ryan.
Goodbye there.
Goodbye from Marie.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Ron.
Cheers. Stay safe, everyone.
Goodbye from Steven. Goodbye.
Chip chip.
And goodbye from me. Enjoy your Star Warsing, and then meet up again next month. And hopefully, I don't know, maybe we will talk after the Acolyte. Who knows? So, all right.
Yeah. A lot going on. Good talk, everybody.
All right.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Go switch off. I am the Senate.
Be sure to follow us online. We're at Facebook at PSW Senate. Join our Plus W Star Wars Facebook group, where we all are in there interacting. You can find us on Twitter at PSW Senate. On Instagram, we're at PSW Senate Podcast. And on TikTok, we're at PSW Senate Podcast. We look forward to hearing from you.
The Force will be with you, always.
Any more Carmel, I'll get the video back on, but it's they're gone for now. Well, that's exciting, wasn't it?
You saw them, or you heard them?
You heard them, then you
saw
saw
them.
Yeah.
They saw them through blurred. My blur.
No, Stephen, your reaction that you saw them coming, or you heard that you just heard it and you kept going by and kept going by and kept going by.
They go by before I started the call, and then they're still going. But the last one, it's like coming past now. It's a car.
Yeah, we're on Main Street, small town USA, and that'll happen where they just roll through, and you're like, "What's that?" And you go and look out, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, it's not often, but sometimes we get we do get sometimes a lot of tractors going past and onto a rally as well. We've had tractors going past.
What do you guys think? What's the jury say? Is a tractor? Is Steven saying a tractor the same thing as we think of as a tractor, or is it something else?
It's probably a bicycle or something.
Or is it the front part? You're talking like a traditional farmer tractor, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's not like it's toilet paper or paper towels or an elevator.
What?
What do they use for
What's paper
TP?
towels got to do with a tractor?
Well, you guys
No,
call an
the-
elevator a lift, but I don't know
Oh,
what they call toilet
The
paper.
elevator lift,
Truck is a lorry.
is a bog roll or loo roll or toilet roll, and then paper towels are help me out here. Paper towels are
Paper towels are what you dry your hands with.
yeah, but you call them something different. I forget. Kitchen roll.
Kitchen roll. Yeah, it's but that's sort of interchangeable. But quite often, only because they're often used in the kitchen.
Yes.
Sometimes they will have kitchen roll written on them, but yeah, some people will say
There's kitchen roll and then there's bog roll.
there is about don't get them mixed up.
No, I absolutely love being a part of this. Learn something new every other day. No idea.
The bog roll.
And crisps,
Bog roll.
crisps and candy and all that kind of stuff.
Crisps, that's
all
right.
that.
Those are potato chips.
There's
You
a
guys think
reason,
You guys think we give our dogs cookies all the time?
right? There's a reason we separated.
Well,
It's a biscuit. It's a cookie.
I
It's a
listened to a little
biscuit.
bit on YouTube, and a lot of it was done deliberately to add uniqueness to American language, so they wouldn't look like it was British.
Yeah, that's what I kind of remember.
Yeah,
That's how they got
separated.
spies.
Two nations separated by a common language.
Yep.
Like, you're a spy. You called it a bog roll.
Yeah. Then we
Take
said
them to the lorry
Ps.
and send them
And
to
the 3 P's should go down the toilet: pee, poo, and paper.
and pills.
And pills. No, you're not
And
supposed
pills.
to put pills down the toilet anymore. We're told off from doing that as well.
Yeah, you're killing off the fish.
Used to do it. 20 years ago, used to have any packet was left over, you bang it all down the toilet and keep flushing. But of course, we only end up polluting ourselves or drugging off.
Right? Drugging it, yep.
Some very happy fish out there. Yeah, now we you got to take them all back to the first take them back to the pharmacist.
Yeah.
And they don't even
That's what we do.
And then they
they
throw them
flush
down
them
the
down.
toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
They flush them down the toilet. They used to send them to third world countries. They don't even do that anymore now, apparently. Oh, dear. Let's find the script. Oh, I find the script, and I found the episode summaries. So we'll probably do the Tales of Empire in 2 chunks rather than per 10-minute episode. Do it in
Per arc.
Per arc.
I might have more questions than answers about that one because I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't watched Tales of the Empire?
What?
I haven't had time.
There's still time now. Go off and watch.
We'll go on and on, although we're supposed to be short, right? But yeah, you chime in at the end. They're short. I forget how long.
No, it's okay. I'll
No, it was 87 minutes in total. He's going to watch them all, one after the other. So
was it that long? 87 minutes. Wow.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Like
Murray. Yeah. Get with find some time. It's definitely to settle in. I'm teasing about trying to quick watch it because no, you should settle in and watch it. They're very well done as always, and some good story to soak in.
Okay.
So we got that. We've got the finale of Doofer. What else?
Bad Batch, right? You said that? And then we're going to go over our May
Bad
the 4th
Batch.
stuff.
Are we going to talk about? Are we going to bring up the Lego movie that they announced for Star Wars, the Rebuild the Galaxy? Are we going to watch?
Yeah. That's not going to be very positive if we do. I mean, yeah.
That's a movie. I thought that was a game.
No, it's like a short. Like, remember the other Lego Star Wars where they go on vacation or whatever?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Be like that.
The Halloween special.
Oh, for some reason I
Yeah.
thought it was a game.
Well, on that note, how about the May the 12th Simpsons thing? Boy, did anyone see it?
Oh,
Dude, I
no.
forgot about it. I
No.
totally
I
forgot.
couldn't bother.
We should. In all honestly, we could probably watch that during the, live and get everyone's reaction. It was incredibly short. I thought it was going to be a bit of a thing, but it was like got going, and then all of a sudden it was over, and I'm like, that was it?
Yeah, anytime they do it, they cross over with Marvel and stuff, and it's like 3 minutes, and I'm like, dude, what the heck? So honestly, I totally forgot about it. So I will have to watch that later. So
we should. It is. Look it up, Rick, or somebody. It's incredibly short. That it would be kind of fun to get a first blush reaction type of thing to everybody, because it was good. It was cute. It was Simpsons.
I did post about it, didn't I? Did I post about it somewhere? And I thought I can't bother to watch it.
I think you did.
And I started to watch it instead.
I've been invested in like Planet of the Apes movies, so I haven't even been on Disney Plus except for to watch the Tales of, and then I jumped back off to. I'm so buried in Netflix right now, and so I just missed it.
Yeah, I got.
Are they all on Netflix? Are they?
No, I'm just saying I turned my Netflix back on, so I'm catching up on a lot of shows and stuff, and I just haven't been on Disney Plus, and I totally forgot
to watch Bridgerton. The season started.
my wife finished all that already. So.
Yeah, so did we the day it came out.
I have not watched any of it.
There's only 4 episodes, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got into A Gentleman in Moscow, and I'm about halfway through that. That's a good show.
That's the Obi-Wan Kenobi one, right?
See, I can't.
Yeah,
Ewan
that's with Ewan McGregor.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And his wife, and Hera.
His current wife, yes. Yep. Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
I can't say I got into a Gentleman in Moscow, because that sounds perverted.
No, it's a really good show.
Everybody's catching my drift there.
Yeah, I'm catching your drift.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Just trying to let it. Yeah. Thanks, Ryan.
Explain in detail, Steven.
We were all trying to let it go by quickly, Steven.
All right, Steven, go.
Wink.
Yeah. Right, just get my cup. Just put my tea bag in my cuppa here, and then we're good.
Whoa, Steven. Too much information.
I want to hear a bunch of tea bags.
No, it's not. It's not an analogy.
I want to talk about perverted, Steven. This is positively Star Wars After Dark over here. Jeez.
Yeah. Red Knight District.
I'm trying to text you, and it's not going to happen. Fine. I just need Ryan to scream the armor, and that'll set us all back straight. Just get us
Once
going.
again, I'd like to point out that Steven wanted to start promptly on time and got distracted by motorcycles. And
motorcycles, yeah.
It's not my fault. I didn't know they were coming. I was going to do.
We did start on time. We started our pregame.
I was going to say this episode is brought to you by Release the Dark Force Cage. I thought it might be better than Star Wars.
I'm now putting a clip of his in our show.
Hey?
No, definitely not.
You got? Oh no! I mean, that's such a. I thought about doing that as it, but that might be a bit to the point. Okay, so right. Well, is everybody ready? Got all the drinks and snacks and.
We're ready.
For Ryan.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm good.
It's great. Armor.
Right, just quickly checking the latest on the sports. Okay, we're clear to go.
Still 0-0.
They'll just kick off at 4 today, so it's another 45 minutes until the football starts kicking off.
Right. Then it'll be 0-0.
I was watching some of the Formula One, but that was really quite dull. So actually, that's why I'm half asleep, because I was falling. I literally was dozing off watching that. Okay.
Are we doing
the round turn left?
No, we're not doing round table.
Round table. Okay.
No, because we're gonna do that with our May the 4th stuff, so we can. Talk
Okay.
Oh, we did May the 4th. I got to put it in the script.
Oh my God, do you not read you asked like what the thing was, and then you ignore it.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing very. To be honest, I'm not doing very good at being on the ball at the moment. I'm really bit.
We'll do Bad Batch finale, because that doesn't take very long, because it was only one episode, and then right, we only had one episode we had to cover. Yeah, yes, and then
finale.
And then we'll do the Tales of the Empire recap, and then at the end Ryan and Ron and us can talk about it May the 4th. Yeah, since you might have to dip out early. So.
Right. Okay. Well, it depends on how the football's going. If football's not going very interesting, then I'll be around for a bit.
Well, now if the Formula One car jumps into the football game, then yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. You might hear me. I might not hear from me.
You know, your team go goal.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Let's get cracking then. Right. Recording. Yep, recording. Testing 1, 2, 3.